God dang it. You know what? Screw it. Screw it. Okay? Screw it. We're gonna do it like this. Fuck it. Like I don't like I got it. So I don't even know why I was worried about this. Like I'm actually going to get people in this motherfucker. Ain't nobody listen to this. You don't get no fucking chance. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that shit. All right, but let's see. I'm trying to run this shit. We got Valheim in the background. We got fucking Discord on the top. That school shooting just happened. And I'm gonna join some left-leaning political debates. See, they talk about guns because I'm trying to wreck some niggas on the gun topics. Pretty sure they're not, but let's see. Because these niggas weak. They soft. All of them soft. I'm hungry. I got beer. Get to the chopper. Let's see. First one.
Really gunboat, boat.
I don't believe it at all.
Oh, you don't believe that?
No, I don't believe
Even
it at
if
all.
there's footage about it?
Okay. You understand this? There's several hours of footage of reported crimes by the IDF, which has been proven false in front of the UN.
How about the bombing of the Al Jazeera building?
Dog, and the dog's like fucking like he's not happy, you know, and he's looking at us. We're just literally
media they're going to be interacting with is going to be a reflection of either the people creating it or the audience they're making it for, which is predominantly heterosexual. They're not trying to put you down as a gay man. They're just trying to relate to the character. And because most people are heterosexual, you know, lo and behold, what a surprise that most of these characters, most of this popular media is heterosexual.
Right. No, but I would say that, like, from an early age, those gay kids, they might not use that, like, form of logic, right? And they might internalize some, like, harmful ideas. Or
maybe they don't actually mean proud. Maybe they just mean happy, right? I'm happy to be gay. Fine. But you shouldn't be proud. You've done nothing. You've made nothing. You've accomplished nothing. And that's not me trying to be mean. I'm just trying to give the word proud a bit more oomph, as it should do.
Have you heard this saying? If you know, with how many people talk about how, like, what it means to be a real man, you have so many people talking about what it means to be a real man that you don't have real men because nobody's being real men. Instead of just talking about something, why not just do it? You know what I mean? So like if you want to feel accomplished in life, then do something, seek accomplishment. Do something.
Do something awesome. Do something cool. Spend 100 hours a week trying to solve a problem, and you might do it. Then you can feel proud if you do it, or draw attention to it.
I understand the idea, and I get the idea, but like, here's the thing, right? To me, in my mind, it's almost like attention seeking, right? Pride Month and all this shit. To me, in my mind, it's just a bunch of people who haven't accomplished much in their life that are only using this event as not only attention, but also a bit of relief to kind of break away from, I don't know, whatever personal shit they got going, so that they can, you know, do. And I get that. I do. It's just, you got to understand, that's such a bad fucking habit to revolve yourself around what other people think. And
Weird. I just don't give a shit.
There you go. That's a good outlook.
Yeah. Got health insurance.
Like thinking, oh shit, I'm covered for like 3 years, and then if you like accidentally burn through those miles in like 2 years.
But this is like your average, like a middle-aged white mother who goes to the Walmart and buys rancid meat and then complains about it.
I don't think that. So again, I don't know what you mean by average, because I don't think the vast majority of people have any involvement in this process whatsoever.
If
And-
people
and
buy
like,
spinach,
if you have
buy
data
spinach
to
and E.
show
coli
me
and their
otherwise,
kid dies,
if you have
don't
data
think
to
that
show
they're
me
gonna-
that like most people are participating in this structure, then okay. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I'm not, but that's not how I see it. I
But
don't see the world working this way.
Success for somebody who's like if you buy rotten spinach and it has E. coli and your kid gets sick or dies, like you're obviously going to raise an issue about it. I think that like you're almost like
You're
kind of
probably
talking
gonna
out of
sue the
both sides.
company.
You're almost
Which you
talking
can
out of both
still
sides.
do in a-
There's a
percentage of people that
Why
with
are you-
regulatory claims. So I mean, are we looking for this on consumer side or government side?
Well,
right?
it sounds
In your mind, you haven't done or
I didn't even know what they were talking about, bro. It wasn't even clear. It's like, dude, say something more, bro. They talk about the I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Speak, nigga.
shit. You're separated from that. What have you accomplished? What have you done? You had look in the mirror. What have you done with your
That's
life?
what they're chasing
So,
like these
what I'm
volatile,
saying is that
ridiculous
what I'm saying is that the reason why I brought the whole analogy with anxiety was because I told people, I said there are better ways of dealing with anxiety besides medication, because if you're solely dependent on one thing, when you run out of that one thing, it's like a fucking tsunami. It hits you immediately. Boom. Somebody sucker punched you to the face. That's how it's like. Instantly. And if you're solely dependent and revolving around one thing, the second that one thing is fallible, you're fucked. You fucked yourself. And you just buried yourself. You shot yourself and buried yourself. That's the problem with it. So I agree 100%.
It's unsustainable, Pride.
I mean, at the end of the day, do what you will, but
it's
I don't
self-destructive.
think
They
it's-
just distract themselves with these empty fucking platitudes.
Yeah, I don't.
I actually apply the same standard to nationalists and patriots. People who are proud of their country but don't actually contribute towards it bother me as well, because they haven't done anything either. You may be flag waving, fine, right? But if you're saying I feel really proud of America, so why? Well, look at all the stuff it's done. It's like, why are you feeling proud of that? You happen to be born
At
in
best,
it.
you can say I'll keep working on what I'm doing right now and sustaining my family for the
Oh,
good of
dude.
America. That's the best thing you can do, right? To fucking make sure
No,
that
there's
the validation.
loads you can do.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
huge amount
No,
more
it's,
you can
it's
do.
a way
That's
to
the norm.
it's a way to internalize the validation by relating it to your family, even though it's about America, right? That's how you can implement nationalism into some.
Oh, dude, you know what?
More
It's even
fundamental pride.
it's even more funny, right? When you have people that are like, oh, yeah, well, my country kicked the Japanese ass during World War II,
British
and then
people we had the biggest empire in the world. It's like, you did fuck all, mate. That was hundreds of years before you were born. What have you made? What have you accomplished?
Listen,
And it's
man.
like, well,
Personally, I've conquered a few African colonies. I don't know about you.
Nice, good for you.
You don't say it like
But,
root for your team,
here's the
though.
thing,
Like,
right?
It's the same thing.
you can
nobody-
root for your team, but the idea that you're proud of something they did without you is ridiculous. Why are you proud? What have you done?
Well,
That's
the
rooting for your
idea-
team, then. That's rooting for your team.
It's
Hold on,
only
but
your
the
team by
idea
coincidence,
isn't-
right? You happen to be born in a country, so you're going to support.
Wait, no. Okay, so being
be proud
proud
of
of your country's history is fine. It's when you attempt to think you're superior because of this, think you are better than, because you're not better than. You didn't accomplish any of their accomplishments.
That's what
But
I'm
it's
getting
okay.
at.
But it's
What
okay.
if you
But it's-
won, though?
But if
You didn't
actually,
win anything.
If you actually won,
What if
then
your
you.
team- what if your team
You,
won?
you personally did fuck all. You didn't made
What
anything.
if your
you didn't
team
support
won, though?
anything.
What
You
if
didn't
your
do
team
that.
won?
No, hold on. You can feel proud that your side won, right? But you cannot then say that, yeah, I am better than you because my country's better than you. No, that's not. You didn't partake in that
Yeah.
bettering. You didn't do anything. You're just a participant.
Also-
You
Hi,
are
I'm back.
literally watching.
Also, it's not even just that,
in the
right?
audience and watching your team
The
play.
Muslims
Hold on.
got mad at me.
Hold on, it's not even
Oh,
just
no.
that, right? It's also the fact that when you really begin to think about it, right? How do I put it?
Your region's
not even
genetics are
just, it's not
superior.
even just like, oh, you, in order for you to talk about anything to do with military, you have to serve the military. It has nothing to even do with that, right? It has something to do with bringing yourself into a realm of reality that is yours instead of going outside of it. People focus way too much on what they want, and they will drown themselves because they never get what they need. And that's the problem. So you focus on what your country's doing. Well, what the fuck are you doing? Why you work? You have kids? You pay taxes? What the fuck do you do? You know, like at least I'm working. I'm paying bills. What the fuck are you doing? You know, like, and that's the thing. It's like respect for people that actually do shit. I respect my stepdad. He can be a fucking asshole sometimes, but so can I, right? But I still love him and respect him because he works his fucking ass off. And he did shit he didn't have to. That's a real fucking man. All right? A contributor, a provider, a protector. Like, a person who took on burdens when he didn't have to. That's something that is an accomplishment. Not like I don't get this idea.
Being gay is an accomplishment. What do you mean?
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off with that shit. This shit this fucking generation just makes no sense, man.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. They're a bunch of narcissistic, idealized fucking retards who have no sense of worth. Like, it's not that hard.
They're too busy connected to their fucking phones in reality.
I mean, so are we. We're on Discord. Oh, shit!
Hey, man. At least I go to work. I gotta work. I got work in like, I don't know, an hour or so. Not as connected as you think.
I got bit.
It's a difference.
I got bit
between
by a
just
zombie.
coming on here every once in a while, and then other people who's just like online all fucking day.
I got bit by a zombie. Fuck me.
Yeah, man, like, before I had a life, dude, I had like 300 plus hours on here, like every single fucking like 30 days, dude. Now it's barely even over 100, and even that's decreasing because I'm working all the time.
Yo, we overtook Canada Room, boys. We have more hours than Canada Room now.
Man, fuck those goosenecks.
Okay, wait, where's the dude? That was just. What was his name?
Tabarnak.
Was whose name?
The guy who left. The one with the PFP guy with blonde hair or whatever. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
I'm looking for freaking copper deposits. I can't find any. I thought it was one over here. I might be in the wrong area, but
Girls Room. It should be hosted by Sharia Chat.
Yeah, there's Muslim.
But half the
to be honest,
half the girls room mods are Muslims.
Yeah, to be honest, the girls' room is basically female Sharia chat. Like, let's just be honest.
What's
That
the
allows
event,
gay mods.
yo? What's the event?
Honestly, it's that's a good fucking point. How the fuck did Freaky actually become mod in there?
Oh, it's just a mod, like
He's
mod
Probably
birthday.
because of Susie.
Freezy's best friends with Susie.
Is
I
it a
don't know how
mod
the
birthday
fuck
party or
that
what?
happened.
They have been best friends since I joined the server.
Well, then I guess she's one of them Muslims that I guess don't give a fuck. I don't know.
Oh, Susie's not Muslim.
Well, she's sure as hell comes off as Muslim.
Bismillah.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I second that notion.
And Fiji is a conservative game, so.
You mean you know what? Honestly, I'm not gonna say that. He's a dumbass.
Reggie's reluctantly gay.
Reluctantly.
Yeah, I feel like he's still struggling to figure out who he is.
Parked at the starting line, engines pumping, thumping in time.
Dumping in time.
Green light flashes, flag goes up.
Can we have some spicy trans arguments going on or what?
Fuck
Spicy.
you. Fuck you.
I really don't have a problem calling someone by their pronouns, but they can't assume that I'm gonna know based on
We're not talking about
me not knowing them.
My
Well, we're
pronoun
not-
is
we're not-
handsomest man alive.
We're not talking about We're not talking about Looney Tunes right now.
My pronoun's
Yeah.
handsomest man alive. Please refer to me by that.
Listen, my mom said I was the handsiest boy, so that means it's true.
My pronouns are in my roles.
Handsome.
It's like fancy.
The number
My
one most
pronouns
handsome
are
boy.
Nig and
Handsy.
Who?
Nig.
Yeah, you guys ain't never watched Tim and Eric, clearly.
No N words. N word.
No N-words, N-word.
Wait, who's an N-word?
The big brains had the hot awe.
The hot
you.
Yeah, it must be these new
Aw.
headphones. Yeah, it must be these new headphones. But I never heard Regalia's accent before. I never heard it. That's how trash my other headphones were.
What? No, I don't know. I switch in.
Not gonna lie, bro. I have no idea where I'm at right now. Like I just started running through this fucking cave and I'm like, oh shit. Where am I at?
I don't pay attention. I guess I got tone deaf on that bitch.
I think I was
Yes.
tone deaf. Couldn't really catch it.
Man, story of my fucking
My
life.
mom used to teach me British English when I was young.
Mongo.
That's
Mongo capitalized.
tragic. I feel sorry
Mongo
for you.
capitalized.
Yeah.
Can we get I don't know, somebody to play bagpipes, Amazing Grace? Because I think we've someone has fallen from grace.
All right, the first
Why do you guys
conspiracy
call
theory. We already have a shoe change on that latest killer. She walked in with a pair of what looks like Pumas, and then at the end where she was dead, she's wearing some totally different shoe with some flame on it. It looks
For
it's
some
actually
reason,
Van.
For some reason, when you began talking about that shit, for some reason my brain went to the recent Tennessee shooting.
That's what I thought he was talking
But that's,
about.
he is talking about it.
No, I'm talking about the one with the transsexual lesbian.
Yeah, the Tennessee.
Okay.
Was that what it was? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. It walked in the place. He had some Pumas on. We all know the skater Pumas. And at the end, where she was dead, has some flamed out. These are Vans. You can tell they're different shoes completely.
You know what?
Are you misgendered?
How does that happen?
Yeah, I
Why is
posted that
You know,
already.
Did you? Good.
Not
Good.
Atlas.
I posted
Wait,
that. That was a mismatch, and that's interesting. It was like
Isn't that
Vans
weird?
going in.
Tiger,
It was like
I
either
talked
Puma
to
going in or
Ellen.
Vans going out.
Those are Pumas going in and Vans on the dead body.
Wait, what if they just changed their shoes mid?
That's what they do. They kill somebody and they switch the shoes out. Got a sponsor here.
Got too bloody.
We got a
This is
sponsor.
I was
sponsored
just
by
gonna
Vans, nigga.
This is sponsored by Vans, bro.
Oh my god.
Running
That's what the
shoes.
conspiracy theory is. Yeah.
Vans running shoes. Guess you couldn't run fast enough.
Oh man.
All the other kids.
No, oh my god.
Yeah, all the other kids with the pumped up.
Better run, better run. I'll run.
Faster than my bullets. Oh
Honestly,
shit! That literally is about a school shooting about a kid getting bullied.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest, I wouldn't care as much if it wasn't for the fact. Wait, wasn't this fucking school that got shot up? Wasn't that like a fucking a fucking like toddler school or something like that?
It was a
Yeah, it was a private school.
Yeah, it was-
I'm gonna tell you guys it was fake. I'm gonna tell you the Sandy Hook thing on you, and I'll tell you how I know it is. It's because they use the code numbers 33. Anytime you see the 33 in there, that means it's a false thing. It's
What
just
was
that.
It was an inside job.
They killed 3 children and 3 adults. There's your 33
Yeah,
right
you
there.
know what, George Bush did it.
The CIA
They specifically put it like that. They didn't say they killed 6 people. They killed 3 children and 3 adults. 33. That's why you got the shoes switched out. Nobody really died. There's nothing illegal about doing a theatrical performance.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of don't give a fuck about the whole the person doing it being trans as much as I give a fuck about it happening to begin with. I think
Right.
that
Bro,
you're
you're
gonna
50
you
kg,
see
you're a victim, bro.
you
You're a
see that
victim.
this shit happens because the society is ass, and that's why
Bro, you're
that's
a
why this shit
victim. You're a
happens.
victim
That's
way.
true. That's
Dream
true.
was an Easter
That's
egg.
true. Hold on, that's
I'll
true.
be
But
right back.
that's true. But typically, the left are always like, "Oh, it's not a mental illness thing. It's because they're racist. They're extremified. They've been polarized." So it's just funny to see
What?
how the
Well,
it's
it
funny to see how the
probably
narrative
is a mental
falls.
health issue. You have this trans creature just shooting up a school, probably mental health issues.
Hey, yo, guys, by the end of the day, we'll have more hours in the Libertarian Lounge.
Libertarian Lounge, are you proud of that?
Bro, let me tell you.
Over there.
Jason, let me tell you something, Jason. Let me tell you something, brother. It ain't my fault y'all don't open that fucking room. It ain't
Bro,
my
you
fault.
know, honestly, the reason I don't go over there and open that room is because it's a joke room. If it was libertarian, I would be in there every day. But it's not. It's laugh at me room. I don't like that.
It's literally, they changed the name to Libertarian, though.
Yeah,
Did they do it?
Yeah,
Recently. Oh, okay.
They changed it to the Libertarian Room instead of the Libertarian Room. But the
Okay,
thing
fair.
is, no matter what they change the name to, the representatives they have in there are not Libertarian, bro. They're just not.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only reason I'm in there, because I'm actual libertarian. I was in that room when it was an 18+ room. That's when I agreed to be a mod in there. And they
Dude,
changed
this
it.
is
They
an
did a
18
crazy
plus
thing.
room, bro.
They did a crazy thing. What? Fucking trade me out, bro.
Fucking hell, bro. If you hang out here for a week, I'll think about it, brother. Because
No
you're like
problem.
one of the only people there that was like not really controversial in the slightest.
That's why I
Yo,
wasn't there too
Bagan,
much.
Bagan, are you a libertarian?
I'm not a libertarian. No, I'm like moderate right, but but if you want to label me with like the closest mainstream political ideology, it would be libertarian though.
Do you want to lower the age of consent?
Oh, this.
No, I feel like we should raise it. Actually, it should be raised.
I think we should let the community decide.
Wait, raise the
I
what?
think age of consent should be raised. It should be raised to 25. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah,
I knew you would say that.
That's a bit extreme when you say.
Not at all. People make
the
dumb decisions before they're 25, man, and they're gonna make stupid decisions after they're 25. But 25 is when your brain sort of starts
Yeah,
to
but
fully
like the
develop.
thing is, by changing
20
the age of
24,
consent
but
to
yeah.
25, what would you actually like do? I mean, you can't like lock up people for having sex under 25, so it just would be nonsensical, right? The law wouldn't really do anything.
I feel like
Unless
to
you would
do really.
As much as I'd like,
really
as much as I,
anything like driving, sex, drinking, smoking, I feel like you should have to be 25. That's just my honest opinion.
You should be 25 to be able to drink.
So I got one section of the portal over here, so I'm gonna have to name that. I think my name's First Base. So I'm building another portal on the other island. I got another island. I don't know. I wasn't streaming on YouTube when I first started this shit, so I got another island. So I'm gonna swim, boat, the sail, fucking sail over to the other island and place these down. I need fine wood 20, gray grit, whatever. 1022. Okay, that's all. I
Literal
need.
cigarette and whiskey addict. Like, what are you on about?
Yeah, you also
Wait, Atlas. Wait, when he says age of consent, that doesn't mean driving.
No, yeah, I know, but like he just talked about driving and drinking.
Wait, I thought you were the one who brought it up.
Yeah, it was because he's a libertarian.
Yeah.
So I assumed he wanted to lower the age of consent.
No, but he didn't say that the age of consent for driving should be 25.
No, I did. I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did say if like to do anything like smoking, drinking, driving.
He's a nerd. That's nerdy behavior. I'm sorry.
How is it nerdy behavior, bro? I literally drink.
I'm saying it is probably gonna result in an infantilized society. I think that there is a distinction between when your brain's fully developed and when you're 18, 19, 20, whatever, and when you can actually start living like a half adult life and having a job and driving and shit like that.
Yeah, like, bro, I'm sorry, but like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, wait, Buggins. Yeah, that actually would be. I'm eating, but what if there's like multiple categories of age of consent? So when you're 18, that's when like you're the first stage of being an adult, like a half adult, and then when you're 25, you're a full on adult.
Let's do 24. Sets of 12 is more even.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like, did you not like think before you were 25, or like, what are you talking about?
What?
We need 18-year-olds in the military.
I'm asking him if he ever like participated in the consumption of alcohol before the age of 25.
Dude, I'm literally 20 years
I
old
have.
and I'm an addict. What are you on about?
You're 20,
Yeah,
bro. You
So,
bro,
Buggin, you're breaking your Buggin, you're breaking your own rules, bro.
Yeah, but I want better for the future. I don't want better for me. Like, what are you on about?
Bro, you're not, bro.
That's a you problem. I do better. Rules for this, not for me.
Yeah, like to be fair, Buggin, most.
And you aren't capable.
Hang on.
properly consuming alcohol.
Atlas. We're not gonna play that name calling game, okay? But
Yeah,
like,
you're geek.
Right.
I'm giving you one more warning. Anyway, Buggin, it's
Yeah,
like you gotta think that like, yeah, most people can just consume alcohol perfectly fine before at like 18, 19, 20. Like, I don't think the problem is like in the age in which people can do these things.
Yeah, because moderation's still going to be a problem when you're 25, 28, 30 or whatever. So I think
Yeah, if you're gonna
a better approach to addiction problems, which I admit are an issue.
I know y'all didn't hear it because
counseling
he
and
said it
coaching.
quietly, but Ness, he called you the F slur, so I banned him.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he slipped one more thing in there, but I didn't hear what it was.
Yeah, and I'll just ignore them. Not worth giving justification
Yeah.
to.
It's all good. We're having a good conversation.
But yeah, no, Buggin, it's just one of those things, man, where it's not really the age of people doing it, it's about the people. I mean, especially with addiction having a massive genetic component, it seems regardless of what age they start, if you're going to be addicted to alcohol, you're going.
In this context, it's a manipulation. I say no, that's not the case because I know you're gonna bring that up. That's why.
And like we keep all the doors locked and all that, but like y'all said, those are glass fucking doors. You know?
Exactly. And you got most of these conservatives saying jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, and then there's like talking about like bullets don't go through walls, like windows. Like, what are you talking about? You guys are reaching for the craziest conspiracies, but bullets work on glass. Like, what are we doing at this point?
Very frightening.
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Yeah.
Your mama doesn't cook a nice fried egg sandwich.
I mean, it's just true. It doesn't, but it weakens it, but it doesn't melt it.
Yeah, well, I feel that my statement was ignored.
What'd you say?
I said his mama doesn't cook a nice fried egg sandwich.
She doesn't. No, you're correct on that one.
You bet.
That sounds disgusting.
What? That sounds delicious.
A fried egg sandwich?
Yes, motherfucker.
Plain as fuck.
And I don't know why.
As well.
I'm not sure why conservatives in America don't give a solution, right? Like go towards whatever angle they want to play it, mental health crisis, whatever. Just keep your guns. Say it's mental health. It's mental health. So then let's find a solution for it, right? Rather than just saying, "Oh, we're fucked."
Because
Well,
no logic. They just want to get
They
paid.
gotta spend money.
Well, look.
Wait. Conservatives do give a solution.
What is the solution?
Liberals don't.
What is the solution?
The solution to what? The like shootings or like to mental health?
Yeah,
The shooting.
I know how you do it,
Shootings,
yeah.
you get more defense. That's the only solution.
Defense.
That-
Everything in America.
What's a-
This
What the
what's a
fuck are
better
you talking
solution than
about?
that?
What the fuck
What's
are
a
you
better
talking
solution?
about?
Here, look at
What's
this.
a better solution?
Here, look at this. At the Uvalde shooting, right? Trained professionals were there with SWAT gear, right? That they were given, and they didn't handle the process. They had to wait for another unit before they went in, and the other unit went in. They failed as trained professionals with the proper equipment, right? And you're saying more guns will do what?
Defense. Boom.
Okay. So you're saying that if they had guns inside the school, that would have been worse?
I'm not saying it would have been worse.
Actual
I'm
officers
saying that
inside school.
in the Uvalde shooting, there was a shooter. Before anybody had died, the authorities were already there. They had guns. They had the equipment, right? They actually had SWAT gear, right? And they didn't accomplish anything. Kids died, and they had to wait for another department from somewhere else to come, even though they had the guns in the school. Do you see the problem?
No, I don't. I see the problem with trusting the government to protect your
Whoa.
children. Yes.
Okay.
That's
You
amazing.
a piece of
That's the question.
work.
That's the question. Said,
And it's funny, you trying to negate the situation that we were talking about when it comes to fucking mental fucking health. But you know what? You're silly if that's what you really believe. Go ahead, Glucose.
okay, you
Mental health.
So-
What has mental health got
okay,
to
so
do with anything?
there is a belief from conservatives, I don't know if you share it, that the more guns are in the hands of gun owners or people in a country, the safer it gets, right? That's the conclusion.
Yes.
Okay, so now
Yes.
I'm from a country that has 3 times less guns, but it's safer than the US. And you guys are way more dangerous. So how many more guns do you need to get to the promised land? How many more guns per person do you need?
How many guns do people want?
Holy-
They can have whatever guns they want. We're a free country.
Well, exactly. They can have however many guns they want, but what is the gun ratio that
many
you're
do you want?
recommending?
What's the optimal
to
gun
get
ratio?
the-
'Cause right now it doesn't seem to be there. You're not there yet. So how many more do you need?
The nearest
We got
countries are
more
like 100
guns
to
than
1.
people right now.
America's 1 to 1.
Yeah, we got more guns than people right now,
Mm.
which is awesome.
Which is my point. I mean, but it doesn't seem safer though.
But
It seems
it's
more
not
you-
everyone's got one
Why is
gun,
that
is it?
not
It's
safer?
like one gun. One
because
guy's got like
statistics
40
show
guns.
like you guys are having way more gun violence problems than anywhere else on the
Where?
planet. You guys.
Everywhere.
How you
How am I
like
doing it?
with
I mean,
guns?
any
Like
any
that's all
metric you
that's
want.
all like
It's obvious.
most of that is like illegal shootings. Like what are you talking about? Like gang violence and shit with
Okay,
stolen guns.
this is the
It's not
dumbest
all
thing ever.
legal guns.
If you shoot someone on the street, that's an illegal shooting, right? So by the
That's
definition, all those
illegal
shootings are illegal
weapons.
shootings. What do you mean?
Illegal weapons.
Illegal weapons.
Weapons obtained illegally.
And this is the thing: all these people who are shooting people are criminals. Yeah. The moment they shoot someone illegally, they become criminals. Yeah, I get it.
No, they were no.
Really?
If I shoot someone right now, not a criminal. If they come in my house, okay. If I do it in commission of a crime, that's crime, right? If I do it with an illegal weapon that I obtained from like another state, or I tried to buy it from another guy who knew my background or some shit like that, that's illegal.
You can't just shoot somebody
Like
that comes into your house unless you like. Did you invite them? You have to. There's all these certain circumstances. I don't like that.
Okay. I wasn't trying to get to a specific case. I'm just saying.
I
Like,
know,
we're
but
talking about
it's ridiculous.
self-defense.
You have to have a fucking reason to
Self-defense
shoot. You
is the
can't
thing.
just shoot somebody because they fucking feel like it.
Like the problem I have with this shit is like a bunch of people who don't know gun laws in America, don't know how to
I live
obtain
in
guns
America. I have a FOID card. I have a gun. Yeah.
It's always the people who say like fucking assault rifles and shit
I
like that,
have.
like
Do you
fully
have a gun?
automatic and shit like that.
Do you have a gun?
Yes, I do.
Do you
sir.
have a
Yes,
FOID
I
card?
do.
I live in Illinois. I have a FOID card.
No, I don't.
Okay.
What's that have to do with anything?
Well, a FOID card is a firearm. It's a firearm identification card that you have to have in Illinois if you want to possess a gun, and it just registers you with the
I don't
state.
need that.
You have to pay a fee.
And it registers that gun to you and everything.
It allows me to purchase guns. Without it, I'm not allowed to purchase guns.
Oh, that's disgusting. I don't need that.
That's disgusting. What do you want? Just anybody can buy a gun, yeah? And no one, basically...
We have background checks. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
definitely
can do a
background
simple
checks. But in Top Hat, like 80% or 85%, I believe, of the break-ins that they had in Columbus, where I live, like the sheriff told me that like at least 80% of the time, like of fucking gun is stolen. So yeah,
Right.
you better report your shit missing, or you're gonna get charged.
Oh, there's a couple of my favorite reggae stars of all time who literally someone just like wants to steal their gun and kills them for it. Or there's like policemen, big phase of like policemen getting killed for their guns, stuff like that.
And the other
Really
problem is
shocking,
too, there is nothing regulating the private sale of a gun. if you sell your gun to a third party individual, if there's not a
Right.
paper trail, where is the accountability, right? And then we say, oh, well, those guns were not obtained legally, but legally they were sold in third party sale. That is completely fine with the people of the state, right? But then those guns are unaccounted for, and those guns do end up being the weapons that
Where's
are
the
the problems, right?
background check there? But if as a third party, do I have to do a background check on some randomer?
You don't, right? It's only if you
Oh, you
buy it
don't.
through a vendor because they have the duty to do that. You as a citizen, you aren't relegated to that duty because it's kind of it's a lot more difficult, right? And people wouldn't like that, so we don't have that.
But they can't
Because I
register
don't
their
want that.
gun if they like the state has to approve them to be registered owners, so they can't register their guns, so it'd still be illegal.
Most states,
Wait, what?
no, you don't even have majority of the time, most states you don't have to register your gun at all. You just at most, like Illinois is a little bit more strict because Chicago is a part of us. I live in the center Illinois, central Illinois, but because Chicago is with us, all you have to have is a FOID card, and then when you purchase a gun from a big box store or a convention or whatever, they might send something to somebody to notify, oh, I purchased this gun, I sold it to this individual with this FOID card identification number, and that's it. But like if you third party, there's no requirement to register.
Damn, that sounds dangerous.
And surely the gangs still do like burners, yeah? You still do like community guns or anything? Or is that a bit too gangster?
Fuck, it's a community gun.
No, don't
Oh,
even
I'm
need
pretty-
that. I suppose there's so many guns around. You don't
Yeah.
even need to share, right? Yeah.
Which is awesome. Nothing wrong with having guns, bro.
So, but like you see
Just
all
be
the issues.
responsible
Do you see all the issues that I?
There's no issue.
You don't see any issues with how a gun can be quote unquote illegal in your eyes, right? How they can so easily become illegal, right?
Yeah, so the guns are out there. That's too many of them now. When like all the games came
Wait,
out
what do you mean
and
too
they were
many?
shooty
Why is there
games,
too many?
a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is going to encourage people to do all the crimes," and nothing really happened. People didn't actually do those crimes. So it was like, "Haha, told you, mum. Like I wasn't going to just do Grand Theft Auto for real," and everything seems fine. Now it seems the kids actually are doing Call of Duty in their school. Like it does actually seem they're running around, seeing the video of the Tennessee one. We're bringing the gun up. We're looking around the corners. You know, we're playing, aren't we? We're in the shooty game. So I don't know. Maybe it's gone a little bit far because you know why are they
That
doing
shit
it?
is rare as hell.
What is it?
Like
Do
people
they?
treat this like it's like something so like we have a big problem with guns. We don't. There's not that many.
Okay.
Like it's more
Okay, let's play a game. Let's play a game.
justified shootings
Is
than
COVID
unjustified.
COVID real or is the COVID vaccine worse than COVID?
You just asked me two different. Yes, is COVID real? Yeah, COVID's real. It's a fucking virus.
Is COVID vaccine worse than COVID?
I don't fucking know. I ain't take the vaccine.
Oh shit! Bingo! I sunk your battleship. I knew it. These two things are connected.
Think my battleship.
He's done well with that. You got to give it up to Glucose when he does it. He really does it.
Did what, bro?
No, don't worry.
Yeah.
Who the fuck?
Incredible.
Our room of NPCs that your kind loves to call NPCs, right? We know exactly who you are.
NPCs. You're
Dude, let's
legit
carry on. Let's
NPCs.
continue
You have
the
no
game.
personality.
What? All right.
Who should win 2024?
Crawl out of your mother's filth.
What do you
No, actually, I
want to
got
do
another
with
one.
this gun problem
Could
in
we
America?
give
Tell me what
some
you want to do
more
with this gun
guns to
problem in
Ukraine?
America.
How many guns do you
Can we
need?
get new guns to Ukraine?
How many guns? Listen.
Yo.
We're a free country. You can have as many guns as
Free
you
country,
want.
money.
That's how many guns I want.
Yeah, okay, so basically,
That's how many guns I want.
hey, yo, which gun company you work for?
None.
None? You're simping for no money. You are simping for $0. You telling me this?
Okay, when you all right, hold up. When you talk about someone having rights, is that simping? Am I simping for rights? Yes, I am.
You are
Thank
simping.
Thank
You're
you. I'm
simping for the
rights.
for the
I'm
gun
simping
company's
for
rights to
I don't give a fuck what
rape
it is.
and
I
pillage your.
want people to have
Simping for
guns,
rights. That's amazing.
knives,
You have an
guns,
easy
knives,
laptop
fucking
at.
bombs, whatever.
No, that is funny though.
He's simping for
I'm
rights.
simping for rights.
You're simping for rights. Hey, yo, let me ask you another one.
I'd love to see that
people don't
placard.
want to defend themselves. Yes, and like how many defensive gun uses are there in the United States? You know
3.
that? Do you know that?
How many cherry-picked information fed directly to you by the NRA are you going to give us? Give it all. For them all. Come on.
It's not the NRA. It's not the
NRA. You don't know what they
The
are all of a
NRA
sudden.
didn't even the NRA didn't even. The most generous amount was 500,000, and that wasn't from the NRA.
Not from the NRA. Who's it from?
I think I'm pretty sure that's an FBI statistic.
FBI statistic. Who copied and pasted the FBI statistic and shoved it in your mouth? Who?
Oh, nice. Cool. Great. So, defensive gun uses.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing, bad?
Yeah, that's easy. If someone breaks into your home, if someone knocks off your hat while you're drinking, and if someone disrespects your truck and then pushes you, you're allowed to blame them.
Yeah, Jordan.
Well, no, you're not. You're not even supposed to have a gun while you're drinking. That's just not.
Oh, my bad. I was joking. I have no idea. Sorry. What
yeah,
are the
everybody follows that
defensive
law.
clause?
I found it. The number came from the Heritage Foundation. Interesting.
The best foundation.
Keep on looking.
The best
It's not more than
foundation.
that.
Yeah.
It's more than that.
Just came out March 8th,
More than
2023.
that.
That's why you know about it. You would have known about
Yeah,
it. That
no.
thing gets fly off
Hey,
into your brain.
actually, no, you're looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, am I? I
It's
don't think so,
2023.
buddy.
It was like 2019. It was like 2019.
I don't think so, Jim. Whatever.
Try again. I think so, Buck. Okay.
Whoa. Keep your guns in the holsters.
Wait. So we moved so far from the actual point, right? The point was, I think people should try to take action to help alleviate this problem, right? Yours was, well, the solution was more guns, and then later on you said it's not an actual problem, right? How, like you said, there was a solution to something that's not a problem, right?
The solution.
Good point.
The solution to some crime. You can have a solution to some crime. It's
Yes,
not like a
the
major
school shooter
crime. No,
one
it's
that
not.
we talk about, and
School
there's
shootings
guns
is not
everywhere.
a major problem. No, it's not a
That's
major
not a
problem.
problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
A major
A
problem.
Not a
major
major
problem. Okay.
Hey,
Yes, it's not a
hey,
major problem.
since you love statistics so much, how many school shootings are there in the U.S.?
Depends on what you're talking about.
4 people or more injured or killed.
Yeah, use the one that you always like to use. It's just a bunch of like urban kids, gang violence that gets unfairly
Okay,
counted.
yeah.
Use that number. I don't give a shit. Use that number.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, which one you want?
I just told you. Use that number. Use
Your
whatever.
number.
I don't fucking know.
Pick a number.
I had
Look
that
it up.
shit on hand.
Oh shit! You spotted my trap. You're too scared to come forward. That's fine. That's fine.
I legit said I don't have it on hand.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you
You're
want
very
me to look
scared.
it
I
up?
know. I can feel it in your bones. You wish you had a gun right now. Holy shit.
Have you got a sniper?
What would I do? I have a gun right now, but I don't know
Can't
what
use
I'm
it
gonna
in
do
a
with
debate
it.
though.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
I mean,
Oh damn.
do whatever you wish. It's free country.
No.
Don't say that. You can't say that.
True.
No,
I
no.
agree with that.
Whatever you do, stay safe. There's only internet argument. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I'm petrified even looking at an unloaded gun. It like boggles my mind, even though it's like, no, there's no bullets. But it's like, nah, I don't know. There's something weird about it. Even though it has no capability, it's something about it, you know? It's like,
No, for
there's
me,
a
like,
mistake in there, man. I wouldn't have I don't know. Just be careful, that's all. We're only on Discord joking around.
75 school
Yeah.
shootings with casualties. There you go.
What's that, sorry?
Again, you were speaking while you were speaking. Can you say it again?
Oh, my bad. 2019, 2020, there was 75 school shootings.
How many school shootings did you get in Canada?
I don't fucking know. I don't live in Canada.
Okay.
It's America's top hat. I don't care about it.
Oh no, that's not good. Oh yeah.
I like the sound of that.
I think we had. I think in 2019 we didn't have any, so we had 0. Your population is 10 times bigger than us. What's 10 times 0, friend?
Yeah.
10 times 0 right now, quick.
I think it's like 0.
There you go. We're better than you. That's all I wanted to say.
Look at that. No, you're not. You got a freaking prime minister that tried to take away your fucking
Oh
pension,
shit!
bro. That's
Oh
fucking
shit!
fucked up.
Another one for bingo. Anti-Trudeau nonsense.
What are
Wow.
you talking about?
How you don't know anything about Canada?
Anti-Trudeau?
We're
I'm
America's top hat, and yet you know
anti-tyranny.
Trudeau is trying to take away our little pea shooters.
I'm anti-tyranny, bro. Like, what are you
Anti-tyranny.
talking about?
Okay.
This guy praised China for their lockdown methods of locking people in their homes, bro. Fuck that guy, bro. That nigga is crazy.
Hey, do you know that term NPC that you guys like to use? I think it applies to you more than to the rest
Yeah.
of us.
So if you think
No,
if
because
you think your
if
guns
I look up things myself, I'm not.
wait, so real quick, if you
Sorry.
think your guns
Sorry.
are gonna protect you from tyranny, that's a joke, right? The Black Panthers thought the same fucking thing, and guess what? They bombed the entire fucking neighborhood, and guess what? The Black Panthers are no more.
Or are they?
What's that the Black Panthers? I thought that was like a separate group.
Philly
I thought they were
bombing.
Black
It,
Panthers.
it was a Philly targeted bombing.
You know what you talk about? That wasn't Black Panthers though. That was like another like fucking
Yes, but that's the point.
black
It's
group.
up no more.
Okay, so here you go.
The government wants
Every
to.
American has a gun.
If the government
All
wants to
white
erase you,
Americans
you
that
will be
have guns.
erased. That's it.
No, they won't. No, they
Your
won't.
little pew pew ain't gonna do nothing.
My little pew pew.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. Come on,
Yes,
let's
it will.
face it. The world has moved on a lot since the
I mean,
1800s.
room temperature. How many people do you think would just fucking?
That wasn't even the
Oh my
1800s.
god,
That was
man!
1890. I mean, that was 1985.
So you think the government would what? Like fucking carpet bomb the United States? Like every member of every person in the United States or something? You think that's what's going to happen?
Yeah,
If you're playing a game with
Guns.
who's got bigger guns, and
Would
if
they have done that in the Civil War? Probably.
Do they have bigger guns?
Yeah, they got big guns, yeah. Very big.
Okay, so what do you think is going to happen with that? Do you think the U.S. is just going to fucking carpet bomb?
if no,
cities
look,
If
in
they
the U.S.?
sit down or they send the Rangers in and people get
look,
mopped up quick to try and kill us.
look. If you are targeted as public enemy number one, and the United States had the will to remove you, you will be removed. That's it. They will glass you, right? They have the capability of doing it, right? I don't think they're going to do it. That's it. I think the United States, the people that serve in the military, the people that serve in our government are still human beings, and they will look out for some type of interest, right? Of course, they have other interests, but going against the citizens is probably not the best play.
Yeah, I don't think they
But
would.
what
I
if
think
half
that,
the citizens want it and half do not? Then you got a problem. Because the backstop, the people in America with the guns is the backstop for the government who has an army, you know? So it's quite a peculiar bit. So if you've got half and half of the people and the government sides who also has the military, that other side will be sat down for sure. Or, you know, by force or not. It won't be kill everyone. It'll be kill a few people. And then the other people are like, shit, this is looking bad.
You'll be making
what people?
Look what happened to Waco. Look what happened to all these little stupid ass cults that had guns that thought they could do something outside of the government's
Look
approval.
what happened. Did we just fight a fucking 20-year war against fucking sand dudes with fucking AR-15s and no body armor? Come on, bro.
They're killing so many people, those guys. They'll be the same guys that will have to go against these so-called uprising people.
Do you know that Americans can own tanks, right? Submarines and shit like that. We're not just unarmed. Like you can
Yeah,
have
do you
these
think
things.
how many submarines do you think are in the private
Not that
market?
many.
How many
Not
submarines?
that many. Not that many.
How many?
Not that
Not many. Maybe one, maybe two.
How many
Arnold
submarines?
Schwarzenegger.
I
Arnold
would say
Schwarzenegger.
I would say like 50.
There's 50 submarines. Are you aware that 50 submarines is one of the biggest fucking navies in the world? Holy shit, man, you're crazy.
The maintenance on a
Man, wait
submarine.
here. This guy's fucking crazy.
Okay.
The maintenance.
Okay, what
you
type
set
of
over your
submarine
head
are you
so you
talking
don't
about?
scuba
Because
dive.
you have freaking private submarines like all over the place.
No, not military fucking grade private
Yeah,
submarines.
the little thing you bring onto the lake that goes underwater for.
Maybe the cocaine ones and shit.
Yeah,
You
holy
know?
fuck.
And do you know what? Okay, so you think that a little fucking submarine can't fucking attack like boats and shit?
Yeah.
What kind of boats?
A military one, yeah.
Boats anyone can attack us.
Fast boats are a
Kayak for
thing.
sure.
One submarine to blow up
Fast
every
boats
single
are a
boat
thing. You
there
know
is
that,
on
right?
Earth.
I was like, fuck.
What, you think a cruise ship against the little submarine? No, dude. That's what started the other wars.
So
Yeah.
what was it? I forgot what war it was. When I think it was Germany that came up with like a little fast boat design, and they were just taking out American warships like it was nothing.
Yeah, those called
With
U-boats.
small
Those called
ass
U-boats.
ships.
Okay, one of these are like
U-boats. There we
like
go.
50 or
Thank you,
60
thank
meters
you.
long.
Yeah, but that's what the
Yeah,
government's got to do.
like 50
You
guys.
can't just knock up a submarine like
So do you think?
the preppers aren't
So do you
prepping the
think that?
submarine.
So do you think that like citizen little private fucking submarines can't get past like radar and shit?
100% cannot get through
I
shit.
don't think
No,
so.
they cannot.
They cannot get
That,
through.
Yeah. Okay.
oh man, that'd be
You can
so
do a
long
visual
for
inspection of the
real
lake and
navy.
the submarine right there. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's no submarines that are worth your discussion about ruining American tyranny.
First earn $1 billion, then think about it, because they cost a lot.
Yeah, all the ones private people have is for like scuba diving and looking at the ocean floor and stuff like that.
I'm gonna
Not
tell you something.
not
Like,
firing missiles and shit. Like, how would you think normal people can even make missiles, like guided missiles? I'm not sure about that.
can and have.
Like, I know the crazy
A
DuPont
little
guy,
bit, but
like,
I mean, can and have.
you know, this is a long time ago, man. Yeah, I know you can make some stuff. People, I don't know. It would need every single person making the maximum and literally, extraordinary loss. It would just have to be a swarm of loss, basically.
yo,
It
Tap
wouldn't
Hat,
be
don't
good.
you get it? These are just guys obsessed with Fight Club, and they want it to come true.
Yeah.
Do you know why that Americans don't build missiles and shit like that?
Like, how do you think you're going to shoot a jet?
Like
Do you think you can snipe a
American
jet?
citizens. Do you think? All right, let me ask you something. Do you know why that Americans don't fucking build missiles and shit?
Yeah, Americans build tons of missiles.
I don't know that at all. No, I think I think a third of all the U.S. economy is
Do you
doing
think we
exactly that.
okay, no, because it's illegal. Do you think we can do it?
Illegal for you to do it. It's not illegal for them.
American
They're using your money to make
If
those
it's illegal
missiles.
for the American citizen to do
Of
it, but
course.
in wartime, do you think, in trying to go against the government, do you think that Americans won't do that?
Well, I'm saying, do you
This
think
is a
we
war
could make
scenario. Though. It's not about building the missiles.
make
They already have them. You're glass. You're gone. That's it.
definitely
This is
normal?
actually a good
missiles,
point this guy's making.
Do you think that America will bomb their own cities and their own citizens?
First of all, I have to just admit that this Iceman Heat Boy is bringing up a very good point that I've actually had to run into when debating other people on gun things. In the U.S., it's unlikely for the good guy civilians to defend against American tyranny if America becomes a tyrannical government. It's unlikely because they will do things that the average person cannot handle. The average citizen militia cannot handle. But against a normally functioning government, the amount of weapons you guys have are just enough to create your own homegrown insurgency. So it's paradoxical in this way, right? Depending on which side you're looking at it. Like, you guys have enough guns to disrupt the interstate highways, to stop food from flowing into the cities, from shooting power stations, which you guys already have, you and your people already have. And by your people, I mean conservatives, right? You guys are already doing this kind of shit. So you have a worryingly amount of guns, but still not enough to reach your final goal, which is anti-tyranny.
I would think that a lot of people, like, if there was some, and I think it's like a high threshold. So I'm be frank. I think it's like a high threshold. Like, everybody has to know that the U.S. government is being tyrannic, like putting people in fucking camps and shit. So I think a
Wait, what
bunch
camps
of
are you talking
people,
about?
and
What camps are you talking about?
like,
Summer
say
camp,
if
band
you're in
camp.
school, if you in school and like you got a hard time concentrating, that's send you in a camp for it. Camps like that.
Camps?
So camps.
So you're
So I
literally
think that
sending them to a concentration camp.
so I think that, like, if it gets to that point, then it'd be way more like even the military personnel would fight against their own government at that point because they took an oath.
Which
No,
side?
you-
What side do you think is more tyrannical? You know, the side that always talks about liberty and free guns for all, and which side's more tyrannical? That side or the side that says maybe don't have so many guns? Which side is more tyrannical to you?
The side that's trying to take away rights is more tyrannical.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. If you try and take away
Yeah, but
rights,
you
then
could add the
you're
right
clearly
of
more
I don't want to be shot up as a kid in school. You see,
No
like, rights are to and
no
fro.
one has the right to shoot you. No one has the right to shoot you.
Yeah, but it keeps happening. We have a disproportionate amount of shootings happening in the United States, and everybody who likes guns just wants to be like, It's not the gun's fault. It's not
Yeah,
because
no
we have
one.
too many
It's
guns.
not the gun.
No,
It's
one has the
literally
right to
not the
shoot you,
gun's
but
fault.
everybody should have the ability to shoot you.
Why?
No
That's
one.
stupid as fuck.
Every.
Yeah, that's his position. That's Iceman's position.
You know what? I agree with that. Actually, I can't even disagree with that because if I say you should have the ability, then yeah, you're right. Actually, so I can't go against that. But I don't think no one should have the right to do it. And I think that everyone should be able to defend themselves, especially in schools. We defend everyone else, so we should defend our kids just the same.
It's so easy to do it in America, though. You just say, like,
Every
well, these guys aren't being patriots. They're going against the Union. So we're not killing Americans. Easy.
I wouldn't say no one's
Take 2
unpatriotic.
seconds
Like if you
to
don't
sort
want
that
guns,
out.
you don't want guns.
You just call it
There's no way that you can
the
get rid of
new
the
American
weapons.
Union.
No,
As long as it says America in, it will stick.
No, it's very, I guess, it's very funny when these conservatives saying, oh, the right person wasn't there, the right person wasn't there. It's always never the right person. All those cops that showed up at Uvalde probably weren't, none of them were conservatives. None of them probably tout these ideas that, guns, that they're pro guns, that, oh, it takes the right man with the right gun. All of them probably weren't that. It's never the responsibility of any individuals, right? It's not that, because they just shirk responsibility, because it's always a true man. It's a true Scotsman fallacy, right? Well they don't represent whatever, blah blah blah, and then you guys keep shifting the goalposts, moving the blame around. Shit doesn't get done. And then you guys sit here and complain and bitch about, oh, I care about the children. I care about the kids. We need to watch after our communities. You guys don't want to do anything to assist the community.
I don't think the government cares about your fucking kids. And Uvalde proves
Here,
that.
look.
Who wanted to go in?
Wait.
Who wanted to go in? The parents wanted to go in. Who stopped them from going in? The government.
Okay.
Some parents actually got through. Yeah, Uvalde was a huge disaster. It was a complete fuck up. But do you think they
It was a failure on the government in all aspects, even with the dude who was shooting it up. They failed on that point too.
Yeah, they failed. But I don't think the U.S. government was trying to kill your fucking kids.
Okay.
No, of course not. But I don't think they care about your kids enough, more than
Okay,
you do.
look. The government doesn't care about your kids, right? The government is the one imposing these legislations for what reason? Because people who are involved in these shootings are advocating for it, right? That's why people vote for it, right? And that's how support works. That's how politics works, right? People thinks, right, whether they're correct or they're incorrect, believe that less guns on the street will result in less dead bodies. So at the end of the day, who is trying to influence this? I feel like it's the people, and majority the people who are affected directly from it.
I don't know about that. I don't know if the people that are affected by it want less guns. I think the people that are affected by it that want less guns are the people that you see most of the time on mainstream media and shit. But I don't think I think more people would want to have a way to defend themselves in a situation like
there's a way to
that. Everybody says, if you get your kid killed, I mean, if your kid dies in a shooting and you didn't have a gun, I'm pretty sure you would be like, oh, I wish I had my right to be armed so I can save
think
my
about it,
child.
What do you think about the kid having the gun in the school, though?
Oh my god.
No. Fuck no.
Okay.
I mean,
wait. Well, think about it this way,
At
right?
what age would you give the kid their own gun to,
Wait.
as a parent?
I'd say 16.
Wait. Besides that, right? Think about it this way. When you're not going to be around your kids 24/7, regardless of you having a gun or not, they're going to be somewhere else. And if they do not have access to a firearm and someone else has access to a firearm, they have the ability to shoot your child, right?
Right.
Do you see where the problem is? Like you're saying, you're saying in Uvalde, as in, that could have happened, right? He could have murked everybody before everybody got there, right?
Yeah.
The failing, the failing in it is thinking that, I'm so here. Do you see the difference from what I'm saying? I'm saying there are people out here that are disturbed enough, right, to commit these atrocities. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be implemented where these individuals are caught beforehand.
Right, the government needs to do their job because in most of these cases they have a bunch of fucking warning signs and then they didn't act upon it.
Yeah,
Okay, and
I just it's a weird thing you're saying because you're saying more guns in a place where there's like children and other things around, and fucking shit happens even with people who are experienced gun owners. So it just seems ridiculous to me.
I mean, I think like lawful gun owners commit less fucking
wait,
like
no,
unlawful
I
gun
agree.
thefts than
But that's
police
the thing, right?
officers.
They're lawful, right? That's the thing. They're lawful,
Mhm.
right? We already went through these. These people are criminals. They don't give a shit, right? The problem is, what is a gun, right? Guns don't kill people. People kill people. But guess what? Guns a tool. And now you've given somebody the ability to kill someone at a more efficient rate, right? For them to have that tool seems kind of dangerous. For me, I don't even advocate getting rid of guns, but I think there should be some type of standard where we can account for who has what gun. We understand who has what. So later on, we can go to a person and say, this is the caliber you have. This is the shell that was fired. We can trace it back and say, this is when it was lost. This is when it was reported, and find who is selling the guns, right? And the majority of guns, we produce a lot of guns in America, right? We should be able to do this.
No, I see. Like if it was like short term and like if I'm thinking like tomorrow, then I would agree with you. But I'm thinking about like the what ifs. Like, what if the government just wants to take everybody's gun? They got a registry. They can just come to your house. Give me your gun.
Here,
You
but
do
they,
I don't like
understand
that.
that the
And then
military.
then
Hold
you
up, you
shoot them
understand the
because they won't
military
take it
is the
from you.
people, right?
here,
Like the
here.
military isn't just weird ass people. Like my husband was military. Like these aren't. They will still have their weapons, and they are people, and they are citizens who care. So I don't know how you think that one person's
I
going
mean,
to
there's
take
some
over.
people in the military that hijacked a tank and drove it through a city, so I don't know about that one.
Ooh, good anecdotal. What the fuck are you even talking about?
What do you mean anecdotal? How the hell is that anecdotal? Everyone knows about that.
No, it's one
A
fucking
million
story. I'm
people
saying
I
knew
don't
like
know
the
about that.
U.S.
That's
Army
crazy.
as a whole
Yeah.
isn't going to fucking turn on the people.
You're a whore.
Oh, you fucker.
That's
Who's that big
crazy.
brain?
Hold up. When did that happen, bro? That's crazy. Military personnel stole a tank and ran it through a fucking
Yeah, in
city.
Los Angeles, some guy got like high and he just stole a tank from a military base and just drove it through like Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. But yeah, oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, one guy.
I thought
Okay.
you meant
Here,
like in
look.
What
Here,
Afghanistan
about
or
a
something.
more high tech solution?
wait.
And because kind of the problem seems to be just thinking now is these guns are
Hold on,
just
give me 2 seconds.
mega
I'll be right back.
mechanical, basically, and the tracing's a bit patchy. But
Here.
what about these kind of posh guns that have the fingerprint to get it out of the holster?
I don't even
Maybe
think that.
some kind of bullet that would be traced. I don't even know if you could deactivate guns remotely from a police station.
No,
But is
see,
this
no, that's
stupid
too
or
much. No, that's too much, right? I
yeah?
think the thing is, I think this is even better, right? If you can enforce certain regulations like background checks, third party sales, right? That means less people would be for any type of gun reform that would restrict having guns if other methods were more effective and school shootings went down, right? But he thinks that there's a slippery slope where people would just vote no guns completely tomorrow. That's never going to happen in America. In America, guns are required. There's a culture of hunting. There's a lifestyle that's dependent on it. It's not going to happen. But the idea is, if we pass better background checks, if we make sure that you can report or you have to report third party sales, then we can create accountability. And if there's more accountability, then less people would support more gun restrictions beyond that, and that would make gun ownership even easier.
Oh shit, Glucose, I didn't realize y'all didn't hunt in Canada.
Yeah, we hunted. We have guns. We just don't need. We shouldn't need semi-automatic rifles with over 5 rounds in the magazine.
What have you missed 5 times?
Yeah, then you fucking go home.
Then you
Go home,
probably
go to a
shouldn't
fucking
be owning a
Safeway,
gun.
buy yourself a can of chickpeas, and eat that instead.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
But yeah.
fuck. You can't hunt. The animal's waiting for you. You got a gun that is like shoots straight, and it's a fucking gun, and you can't hit that thing. Go home. Just go home.
Oh, wait.
What? People hunt up here all the time. You don't need 30 rounds.
I know. I know there's hunting guns all over the world.
why
I know America's special.
Okay, even if you hunt animals, what about like fucking overgrown boar populations or some shit like that?
That should be tackled by professional hunting or
carry-
environmental services.
Wait, you can have
That shouldn't be
have a
open
large mag.
season just with people with AKs and shit. That's
Yeah, you
ridiculous.
can have a large. You can have a larger mag. They just have to be approved. You just have to have a special license to do it.
So I gotta pay the government to own.
Yes,
plastic
because it creates
legally?
accountability.
I think I could understand doing something like just putting semi-automatic weapons with large capacity magazines into the class 3 category, because you've got to go through a lot of hoops just to get class 3 weapons.
So you want to price people out from defending themselves?
That's not saying that you can't have an AR-15 with 20 rounds is not saying you can't defend yourself. You've still got
I want an AR.
You've still got handguns.
Shotgun is clearly the
still
best
got
defensive
shotgun.
weapon anyway.
This is like saying, oh, the United States should subsidize uranium because they have nukes, so we should be able to, us as a people should be able to build nukes to fight off the government if they ever come.
It's maybe a good argument there.
We should.
Yeah, he'll want that.
We should. Yes, I do. There should be class 3.
No, I don't want.
How many people?
I don't want the retard next to me having anything.
That when you combine all of your nukes together, whoa,
Who owns that technology?
of what? Nuclear,
Like nukes.
rocket? No, each place has to work it out itself. Britain and America were working on that in dual tandem, but then
Israel.
America took 1,000 Nazi scientists and managed to make a breakthrough.
Not that. Like most the government doesn't just produce nukes.
Of course they do.
It's private industry that has the nukes. I mean that like.
Oh, I see what
produce
you
the
mean.
technology
Yeah,
for the
definitely. They have contractors that are trusted over decades and decades, and they only employ Americans, and they give them a lot of money. Something like $600 billion a year they give to Lockheed Martin, I think, something like that. And then they will say, "What's on the menu this year?" Yeah.
But yeah, if you have multiple intruders in your home, or if you have multiple attackers, you need more than one round, or more than
Once
5
again, a handgun should be sufficient, should it not?
What? Shotgun with 6 in. Bam, bam, spin, bam. Night. Nah?
A shotgun?
Just have extra rounds, load quickly. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm just straight in gaming right now. Combat shotgun.
No, fuck a shotgun.
Alright, I'm out of the chat, my bad. I did overstretch a little bit, I must say. I don't know how to fucking defend 2 intruders that come into my house at the same time, and they've got guns as well.
What you
Yeah.
do is you have to plant mines in your house, dude.
Right. Then you would go full Home Alone. So micro machines under the window, and then like a tripwire, maybe a hot handle. Make the door handles really hot.
All that's illegal.
Right. Again, just Home Alone 2 jokes.
I mean,
What do you want to do then? What do you want to do? Just spray 2 Uzis around, John Wick style.
Is it legal for civilians to own flashbangs?
Flashbangs.
Flashbangs?
Fucking
It
hell.
would fall
What, you're
under,
walking around to get a glass of milk with your flashbangs on your Batman
It
utility
would probably
belt.
fall under
And
a
then-
class 3 category for being a explosive device.
I mean, the worst it's gonna do is blind you.
Oh yeah,
you
that's
can get
not bad at all.
I'm a super big fan of this. Quickly, you guys haven't heard the story. My friend had a gun and pepper spray, and we were both delivery drivers. A dog attacked him. Thank God he used the pepper spray, not the gun. So, fan of pepper spray.
They also make pepper ball guns now. Those are pretty cool, but I don't know how effective they would be against a person trying to attack you.
Dude, if you like have a musket for home defense, that'll actually just kill someone, dude. If you hit them right.
But if you miss,
I mean, if you miss, let's just assume that the musket has a bayonet attached to it. Then you're still good.
Look, this is why you just get a blunderbuss, and whatever fits in it, you can shoot at them. So, Got a bunch of screws, just throw the screws in the blunderbuss. Got some broken glass and some sand, put that in the blunderbuss.
What happens when criminals still have their guns?
The
Fucking
idea,
down.
right? Nobody's saying we're going to get rid of guns completely. Like I already stated this, we are America. Guns will not go away. Guns will never go away. We have, like, it's one of the few things we still manufacture. Okay, guns will always be here. That's it. That like at that point, it's not even a topic of conversation, right? It's just what do we do to help the problem, right? And I think background checks and being able to hold people accountable for their firearms, right? Or if the firearms goes missing, right? That there's some way that it can be traced. So we can hold people accountable, hold something accountable, so we can find how are the criminals obtaining these guns. Because at this point, all the criminals would have to do is just buy it through a third party, and they would be, and they can avoid the whole background check. They can avoid the red flags. They can avoid these other things that you've so-called say we've already implemented.
I think any kind of third-party sale of firearms should go through a licensed gun dealer and should require background checks.
Right. Through a gun shop, they hold it in the meantime. They do the background shop as the check as the shop, sorry, and then bam, transaction made. Or give it a week. You know, you shouldn't be go and meet a guy and you can get the gun right then. Can you get it straight away?
If it's third party, I don't think it matters.
If you met a guy, third party, they want to sell their gun. Oh, I'll come down on Sunday to have a look at it. Can you just buy it right there and walk away with it? Or no?
There's nothing holding them against it. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that's no good.
A criminal or anything.
Yeah, do it the shop way would be way
But-
better. Use them as an interim if you want to sell your gun.
If you know
I
that.
mean, we already going to do that for our cars.
As a person selling the gun directly to another person, how the hell do you know they're not a criminal?
Well,
Listen,
obviously
if you know
you
they're a
don't.
criminal. If you know they're a criminal, then you
Well,
can't do it. That's illegal. But
You spend $20
if you
and
know
look
they can't own
online.
a gun.
But that's such a weird thing. Wait. That statement's such a weird thing. That's like, hey, asking a cop, is he a cop? If he's undercover, hey, are you a cop, man? Oh yeah, they have to announce you. So the a criminal who's doing something illegal is gonna tell you that he's doing something illegal?
Of course not, but if you know he's a criminal, then you can't do it.
Yeah, if you
If
knew
know he can't
anyway
own
in
a-
your
I-
own.
I'm never going to
Yeah.
say a criminal because
Well,
of certain
yeah,
crimes. If you know he can't own a gun,
Then
Well,
guess what?
like,
You can feign ignorance.
if you
Simple.
have so many felonies in the United States, you're not allowed to own a gun. So, and there's a lot of people who aren't supposed to be able to own a gun. So, if you know that, and there's some people, I don't know, it would be hard to prove, as you say.
What about
yeah,
where
of course
you
it's
have to
hard to
keep
prove,
the
but
gun?
if-
What's the rules on that?
If
What? What do you say?
wait,
Well,
Like
this
if you're on
person the other day
probation,
who did the shootout, the Tennessee one, are those guns that person's guns? Like, or did they just literally go in their shed and just take their fucking uncle's guns and roll up to the school?
The
That's
for
what
the
I thought.
Uvalde
With her
one,
guns,
he
right?
purchased the gun himself.
Really?
And the gun manufacturers or people are trying to hold the gun manufacturers liable because they have a financing programs for the firearms.
What? Good for kids.
Yeah, well, that-
Good for students.
well, that's stupid. But yeah,
You know,
you can't
that
hold
over-
the gun manufacturers.
I think it's like
How can you hold the gun manufacturers responsible for somebody doing something criminal? That's stupid.
I think 60% of gun deaths in the United States are suicide. So they're probably not the most stable minds to be owning firearms. So it doesn't seem like,
1-6.
60,
Or
60. Let me
60.
look it up.
Yeah, it seems big. But it could be. It'll be big. I'm gonna guess 20 to 30. But 60 or above would be, say, if you do choose to commit suicide and
Well-
use a gun.
Well, see
It's
that,
not.
that-
You don't have much chance, if you know what I mean.
yeah. You typically men are the ones who own guns, and men are just a lot more successful. They put some commitment into it when they actually do it, and ends up being very successful. Where if you include like attempts, it's actually it skews the results quite a bit.
I could imagine 60% could be using gun. for US males potentially, something like
Successful.
that.
Yeah, successful. Definitely gun. Well, I'm pretty sure the males are just males are ridiculously successful at their. It's not an attempt; they just do it. Like
We follow through. That's why.
what?
Yeah.
So we follow through with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't walk back a bullet.
It's true.
Yeah.
You ain't
There
been
is
the
a
right
lot of
side.
ones that have a process, you know, that you might change your mind or you might reverse or you get your stomach pumped or something, but you know, and a lot of people actually, it's actually a surprising amount of people actually do not die from trying to do the gun one, and it's real tough then. You know, they've literally tried. I don't know if we're even supposed to talk about this, but you know, they can still survive. People can still survive. It's not guaranteed or anything like that, you know? So it's a very vicious, like horrible way to imagine. Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Yes, Cat.
How's it
Just
going?
in time to hear me break TOS. Perfect.
Nice. What's
I don't think
what's
so.
the,
I don't know.
what's the
We're just
topic?
chatting about guns, really. Just chatting about guns
We're
or
talking
just
about
things
how guns are so awesome
I
and they
fucking
should be.
love them. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I live in America, the arsenal of democracy. Anytime you guys are getting ass raped by dictators, you know who to call. Da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying?
That's lit.
Fash busters.
This is more if just the government get moody, then what? And also, is there anything for the school shooter thing? Obviously, as it just keeps coming up, right? So we keep talking about it, but it keeps coming up.
Well, I mean, because there's nothing being done, right? Like for me, all of the gun restrictions so far have been useless that they've passed. It's done nothing to direct the issue, right? The issue is not how high power the gun is. Is these people probably shouldn't have guns, or there probably should be some mechanism within our community to identify these people and give them the help they need, or remove them from
What
that
is the age
situation.
of gun again? Let me ask a few more questions. What is the age of you can buy a gun?
18 for a rifle, 21 for a handgun, generally speaking.
Yep.
So in my state, they have a law now where you can't buy a handgun at 21, but your parents can buy you if you're 18. Your parents can buy and give you a handgun.
Okay. Yeah, that seems
daughter has a
fairly
rifle, so
sensible.
and she's 10.
Not like 16 or something like that. So how old was this student then? If it was a legal gun that they just got on finance?
Which for the
She was
Uvalde
like
one,
28, right?
for the Uvalde one, I
21.
think he just graduated. No, the Uvalde one, I think he
Oh,
graduated.
Uvalde. I thought you meant the other one.
Oh yeah,
The
the other one.
was
He's quite a bit older. He went to a he didn't just graduate. He
Quite a bit older. Shit, I think I've always thought of these people as a lot younger.
Nah, the one that just happened,
That's
she was
fucking horrible,
28,
man.
I think,
Mm.
and she went to that school that she shot up. So
yeah. He went there in the past, way in the past.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty scary. So these are actually full-blown adults. It's not... I was thinking, like, I don't know, get some cool lockups, you know, with some extra codes or something. And then these little kids might not be able to get their hands on them, right? If it's just loose. But if they're just grown up, like, what can you do?
As far as the kids going, I think that if a child accesses a parent's unsecured firearm and commits mayhem with it, the parent should be legally accountable for the fact that they didn't keep their weapon out of the hands of their little psychopath.
I agree with that one.
I think
You should not have your guns just
I
don't
think
know,
if you
'cause I don't want to have my guns just locked up.
so I've got mixed feelings on this because my thoughts is if there is a home invasion, it might be a problem, but
Exactly.
I could understand like requiring you to own a gun safe or something like that way guns can't be stolen or someone that's a relative can't just take it and go do a shooting.
Yeah, I mean, you can manage your firearm. Like when you get home, you take your firearm out of the safe and you keep it on your person, or you keep it in a special chamber under your bed, or tape it to the wall or something. Whatever you do to it, that's fine. But the point is just know that if your little kid's a psychopath and he gets a hold of it, just like if he gets the keys of your car and starts mowing people down in the road, you're going to be accountable for it. You have to manage your children. And if you don't,
Yeah, I think.
if you don't know your child well enough, because my father, I'm not shitting you, there was a Smith & Wesson in the fucking cabinet of my room when I was 10. And I never, ever would have thought of, imagined using it, taking it outside. Like, I'd clean that thing and put it away, but never thought of anything like that. That's insanity. My old man knew he could trust me. He knew me well. But some of these people, they don't know their fucking kids. Their kids are just tenants in their fucking house. And if their kid goes out and does something, that's your fucking gun. That's your fucking liability.
Hey, real quick, if you don't me asking a question, I don't mean to interject with what y'all's conversation is, but are you visually is my camera working?
Yeah, we can see you, love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've seen you all day, man. I don't know what you've been doing, but we've been seeing you busy
on a
anyway.
treadmill. I was like, "Are you on a treadmill?"
Pardon?
I said, "I thought that was a treadmill in front of you. I thought you were just standing on it."
No, it's a lecture, like something when somebody does a lecture. I had to do some coursework.
Gotcha.
But you guys have a good one. I'm gonna log out.
Take care.
Nope.
Yeah.
But that is a good idea. Like, maybe like have something where like you have to have your weapon like close to you if you're in the home and it's unsecured. But if you're like going to sleep, shit. Because if you're going to sleep, it still gotta be next to you or something.
Well, no, you can do whatever, right? But if your kid ends up murking the school, you're liable because somehow that went away from you. Somehow it got lost, but it was your responsibility to know where it was, and you didn't do that.
Maybe that can fall under like negligence. Like if they can prove that.
Well, if you don't have a safe, you don't have these things to implement, right, to make sure the gun's safe, then it's automatically negligent, right?
But then what if your like kid just found out your fucking code to your safe or some shit?
I mean, the idea is if you have a gun in your home and you haven't talked to your kids about child safety and you're just leaving it around willy-nilly where these kids are playing video games with guns, where they're playing with toy guns and they don't understand the real life consequences between a real gun and a toy gun, I feel like that's negligence.
Yeah, I would say so too. I would say so too. If you have guns in your house and you have kids in your house, you need to teach them. I'd agree with that.
Right? Like at some point somebody has to take responsibility,
I don't get it. Then if your gun's in a safe when you need it for protection, it would just seem like it would be hard to get to. That's just me.
You can get safes that have an RFID chip, and you basically you can get it as like a bracelet. You put your wrist up against the door, it immediately unlocks it. I don't know. That's faster than like the traditional code for a safe, but
And they have pressure locks for triggers that you can put on that are like child safety locks that it takes like, 40 pounds of thumb pressure or something to be able to release it. So a little baby can't pull the trigger lock off of it. They have little compartment safes that have a finger pad on it where you, even in a dark room, you'll put your fingers over the holes and you go middle, pinky, ring, index, whatever combination you're used to, and the thing will pop right open.
That.
Who's trying to kill you, Dolphin?
What's that?
Like, who's trying to kill you? Who would need that much protection, though?
The evil communist crackhead left-wing enemy that exists. I'm just being
If you want a mod, I would so mute you right now.
It's feral hogs. That's the real concern.
I mean,
the real concern is anyone who wants to do you harm. You never know when someone
Yeah.
wants to attack you or you're being targeted.
You'll
So
all be laughing when the feral hogs develop sentience and start making tools. It's
True.
all over then, guys.
The
my answer,
bro, you gotta watch out
my
for the
answer
squirrels.
would be
The
the people
squirrels.
that have been following people home from the bank and then jumping them in their houses, stealing money
Well,
from them.
well, for that, if you might need your concealed carry. If it's somebody's contacting you outside the house, you might not have time to get into your house before they make their move. But in the end, I look at it like this. I take certain precautions. Those precautions may delay me for a few moments, and I might die as a result of that. You know what I mean? But I can't walk around like Rambo with a belt of M60 ammo over my shoulder. I can't do that.
Something that disappoints me is things like walking cane guns are illegal because it's illegal to make an object that looks like an everyday object into a weapon.
Yeah, well, that part of that comes from the fact that when I confront somebody with my cane and I'll say, "I'll shoot you," and they go, "Haha, old man, I don't see any gun," and then they escalate further. The idea is when I show them a pistol, in theory, I can tell them to run or something like that. But if it's a curious object, then it makes it less clear to the person.
I want my briefcase gun though.
Oh yeah, I had that as a kid, Captain. I had the James Bond briefcase with the sniper in, and it had a camera as well on the side. You could take pictures, with the handle. You could hold the handle and take a picture. Really cool.
Oh, that's another one.
I think it's an old toy, probably 70s toy.
Yeah, but Top Hat, the way these guys are talking, don't they all sound like they want to be James Bond?
Who doesn't want to be James Bond? One shot. But home invasions, Noah, I'm pretty much petrified of this concept. If that is one of my key radars. Once I see that rise in Britain, I know all kinds of stuff. There's absolutely no way you could do introduce guns to Britain. You might be thinking, oh, goodness, we got a head start on sorting this gun stuff. At least loads of you are trained, loads of you know what guns are about, blah, blah, blah. But if a new place got them, like Britain, oh my goodness. I don't know.
You could easily, I don't know about present generations, but you could introduce education programs in schools to teach about gun safety.
They used to do that. I've seen the funny videos of kids in the 50s with all their rifles at the back of the classroom, and they're just everyone's chilling.
Yep.
Goddamn.
So, what do you think of this idea, Top Hat? When you turn 50 or 55, maybe even 60, and you reach the point where you're no longer boxing material. UFC is out of the picture. And the idea is you're an old man. You've lived a good life as a citizen. We will allow you to carry a 38 special 6-shot revolver. It's going to be registered, and you have to, do proper paperwork, or every year you have to make a phone call or whatever to make sure that you're on the up and up and you still are in possession of your weapon. And then when you die, this is the most restrictive thing I can think of, with some leniency towards when you finally die, then the pistol has to be returned, or sold to another senior citizen. But I'm just thinking
aggressive flash pass.
Yeah, well, the thing I'm thinking is I hate the idea that an old man has a home invasion and we expect him to use his fists. We can't use a bat, a decorative sword. Apparently, that could be a felony. So I think in Britain, the home defense is that there's a small stump that you keep in the great hall of your room, and then you just lay your head on it with your neck across the stump when somebody comes in and you say, "Oh, please have mercy on me, sir." And to me, that's horrific.
As a counterpoint, Helio Gracie one of the founders of jiu-jitsu, was able to choke a man out well into his. Just saying.
Hmm.
With his bare hands.
Good man. Good man. Good man.
I don't know, like
Yeah.
everybody's catching like thieves with their little $25 Amazon camera to catch them stealing their packages and stuff. And then most home invaders like to come when the people aren't there. A big reason they come is to get guns, and like if they're there for your stuff, and please don't take your stuff. Other than stuff isn't as important as a human being. I know you have a right to protect your shit, but you'll probably get it back anyway.
So one of
Why
the
do they think that?
one of my
Why do they think my shit is
No.
more important than their lives?
Well, wait. You wouldn't get it back, right? That's it. Like most cases, things are stolen. That shit's gone forever. You're never gonna get it back. Even if they caught the people that did it, that shit's gone.
Well, I think I
Yeah,
mean
but I'm saying like, oh, sorry.
like okay, so if you don't use a weapon to defend yourself, somebody robs your home, and then you're like the argument was you're probably going to get it back anyway, and nobody has to die. So my thing about that is it seems to rely so heavily on the presumption that the police or whatever are going to actually be competent and just and acting in the best interests of people who might be harmed by crimes like that. And like, even if that's true practically, I think in principle you kind of have to operate under the assumption that it might not be. You know what I mean?
No. If that stuff is gone,
I agree.
no. If that stuff is gone,
understand.
it's gone. You're not getting it back. That's it.
You got it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But this is the reason why I kind of disagree with the American view on guns at home and crime. Like, I see this whole gun thing as a giant psyop, where the government officials who vote to give you so many guns, or that allow you to have your Second Amendment rights, they're being paid like by the gun companies to make this about guns. And at the same time that they're getting paid, they can also do their job shittier, or they can just not make crime go away using normal methods that other countries have used, right? And
Yeah, but
they've enriched themselves through this double-ended conflict of interest. You know what I mean?
But glucose, what could you mean? The solution is obviously more guns. Give more guns so they can buy more lobbyists. What do you mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is like crazy. These guys have so much money for lobbying now.
Well, part of the problem is that the lobbying comes from gun companies as opposed to organizations like similar to the National Rifle Association. Say what you will, NRA has had some problems in the past decade or two, as some of you may know.
Yeah.
But if we could have a dialectic, because the problem is these big businesses, whether it's big oil or big gun, they're whispering in politicians' ears because they say, look, we're trying to maximize our revenue. We don't care who gets hurt. If, global warming, school shootings, let's just ignore this and find convenient excuses to continue doing what we're doing. And their goal is to sell as many units as they can. And that's contrary to the citizens' goal. And the citizens' goal is to have their rights and their safety balanced properly. So if we could get a dialectic where there would be sane, rational gun owners who are willing to work together and compromise a little bit. I know compromise is a dirty word in American politics, and we feel that the definition of democracy is not to reach a consensus, but rather to silence your opposition when you have the power and use all kinds of games to pull one over on him. And it flips back and forth. We'd have the gun bans, and then pro-guns people would come in and eliminate the gun bans. And there's no consensus where we're like, let's willfully and consciously create a good policy instead of just playing this willy-nilly, let the chips fall where it may. Oh, we have possession of the ball, let's run it for a touchdown kind of bullshit. That's not democracy.
Dolphin, you realize that everybody who says that they aren't in the same group are going to call you insane. So what good will that do?
Am I insane?
No, I'm saying that the people who say they're sane, when they say, "Hey, you're insane because I'm sane," the insane people aren't going to like that. And what metric do you have to say that this person deserves the right or doesn't deserve the right? Because it's very hard to determine that. I don't think you can.
Well, I mean, you can at least have measures in place for determining like who is competent to like know how to own a gun and use it safely. I mean, that's never going to be foolproof, but I think that would at least be better than. I mean, you don't want like 12-year-olds running around with Glock. I mean, I think that's a very sane position that everybody can agree on, right?
The 12-year-old can't buy a Glock, so that's not a
Good.
problem right now.
Yeah, but like, I
His
mean,
dad can, and he can just go to his room and take the gun, and then go outside and have some jollies with it.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, we have to be clear. What kind of crimes are we talking about? Because there's different categories of gun crime. There's the mass shooter, which is, this is like the elusive weird animal that we're trying to discover in the wild. Then you have the gang shooter, where it's like, oh, you stole my drugs, boom, boom, and he shoots 2 or 3 people with a handgun. So that profiled person and the circumstances in which they acquire guns and the circumstances in which they commit their crime is way different from a mass shooter. And that's way different than the 7-year-old who brings his father's gun to school for show and tell and accidentally shoots a classmate.
I totally agree, but back to what I was saying, how would you measure who is sane and who is not sane? How do you get to determine who gets to give up their Second Amendment right?
Actually, if somebody is taking a whole bunch of psychoactive prescription medications, that's probably something where we would be like, at least calling into question
That's
whether
a
they
HIPAA
should.
violation, so we don't get to know their medical stuff.
So what America
Is
actually
there like a
decent-
background check?
So in
for-
America, we actually have a pretty decent consensus on what guns regulation should be passed on both sides. We can get a majority through both sides, but it's the politicians that don't vote that way, and it's the policies that they choose where it's not really a win for one side and it's not really a win for the other side, and it screws up the entire thing.
In Canada, if you go for mental health treatment, temporarily, they will suspend your right to own firearms. Like the police will show up the very next day to secure your firearms. Every 24 hours, they run the background checks. And if somebody has a flag, like a mental flag or something like that, the police will come. And I think that it's like 6 months or 12 months of medication. And if you're stable without any problems or whatever, then they'll give you your guns back.
So
Okay,
I mean,
but
is that
Dolphin,
like literally?
I asked Dolphin the question in the first place, and I want to know what his is. What is your metric for determining who is safe?
No way I can't tell. Yo, I came here for fucking minerals. That's the only thing I came here to fucking get the minerals, teleport to my other island so I can transfer there and then make more fucking weapons and shit. But I can't even do it because I can't travel. I can't fast travel with it. I mean, I can't teleport through the portal with them. That's fucking stupid. Fuck.
Like nitpicky kind of matter because that's just
Why?
how
Why don't
laws
you make
work.
it even more restricted? So even if you did a jaywalk, you lose your gun rights. That would be better. Now you are incentivizing people to follow the rules. You don't want to be some loser. with no gun.
If we can't trust you with a gun, you shouldn't be out of jail.
Oh yeah, thank you, Pat.
Thank you for that comment, General Washington, proving your name once again.
Washington.
We still didn't hear Trump's answer all the way through. You guys interrupt.
Well, as far as it goes, if you do a psychological evaluation and somebody says, I think about hurting people or whatever, if that, I think that would be a flag, right? Say you have psychosis or something like that.
Well, originally, right, we were
So you
having
want
this
the
conversation.
medical records to go to the government? Because they'd have to have, like with your therapist that's like privileged and stuff. So you want the government to have access to people's mental health records.
Well, no, wait. Right now, right, as of now, I think the therapist has a duty to report those findings to authorities already.
Is that not already a thing?
Okay, no,
It's
no,
if
no.
they're
She wants
If they
to
planning
give
hurt
an
you, if they
herself
give
active,
or
you a
others.
danger,
if
you're
they're
so
planning
ready for that.
whatever, but like
They
still,
can.
there is a
They're
HIPAA
just making
thing.
up stuff like that are already are in the fucking process.
No,
It's only
no.
if they know that if they see that you're going to do harm to yourself or others, like
How
any
would they
other gun,
know?
then they don't have to report. They don't know.
Because it's in the
I'll
system.
let you say.
Okay, when they check if you're okay for a gun.
Just like if I go to the therapist or psychiatrist or whatever, and I say I'm hearing voices, I think demons are attacking me. That doesn't mean I'm like endangering someone else or others.
Sure, but like that could flag you for that, like check whether you can have a firearm.
So then you would leave this to the professionals, right? To who they deem, right, is a danger.
Do we trust professionals? And this would lead to less people seeking mental health.
If we
Health.
can't trust professionals, then who can we trust?
Listen, look at the
I don't
COVID
think we
shot.
should.
Nobody trusts the doctors. People in America are bitching at teachers saying that they don't teach right, and people are saying the soldiers are doing anything wrong. So I don't know why everybody is assuming that everything we don't trust people in general.
Can you like record yourself and say that to yourself?
I don't think we can trust psychiatrists to say that shit because if I say I like shooting guns, I like the explosive power, and somebody can say, "Oh, this man's fucking crazy. He likes fucking destroying
Wait.
shit."
So that's a difference, right?
But
If you're just nonchalantly discussing those with your psychiatrist unprompted, I feel like you're either trying to get a reaction, edgelording, which maybe you should be put on a fucking list for trying to edgelord a psychiatrist, right? Trying to do false alarms, right?
I mean,
But if it's coming from a
what if they
point where, oh, I've been depressed because I've been blah blah blah, I've been bullied, whatever these bullshit that these kids make excuses they make, then maybe that's a good sign. This person needs some type of help, right?
But some people might
here's-
look at if I say I feel good, I feel at most peace by shooting stuff and fucking going out and blowing shit up. Some psychiatrist can look at that and be like, "Oh, this man's fucked up. This man's crazy because he likes destroying shit." Depending on
Yeah.
the type of mindset
Here,
they
wait,
have.
but look
And
here, but
then
look at
they
this,
will.
right? Wait, but look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that person can sue the psychiatrist, and then medical standards will change around mental health and the discussion around guns, because guns can be a hobby, guns can be hunting, guns can be many things, and there will be some standards that
Right.
we will develop because the psychiatrist would be held liable.
It seems
Right,
to
but
me
that's
that
after I already get my rights taken away.
the real
I don't want my
issue here
rights.
is whether it seems the dispute, the contention here is whether or not we can trust our society to be able to have reasonable standards for where to draw the line. Basically, I mean, if you're bringing up the possibility of people having their guns taken away for fucking jaywalking, then clearly the issue is that you are worried about a slippery slope, essentially. Whereas, I think we can agree that regardless of how the lines get drawn, that there are some people who you would not want to have firearms, or at least certain kinds of firearms. I mean, I really think that we should be able to just operate under the assumption that if the conversation is reasonable, then the line will be drawn in a sensible way that won't, that will exclude people who clearly have.
Hello?
Yes, this is Michael Newschwanger. You called me about a FedEx package?
Yeah, I was just wondering if all right, so I had to work real quick. Somebody just called me and I was like, fuck. Working all day, bro. Working all day. That's all it is.
Saying that what is.
To quickly answer General Washington's question, I think that's he raises a very valid point. In Britain, they banned firearms, and now Britain is stabbing each other to death, right? So obviously, when people are psychopathic murderers, you're not going to be able to stop them. They'll use chair legs and broken glass if they have to. So yeah, the violence, the inherent violence in society, that's an undercurrent that guns is not going to change. So I think that's true, but I think this is also a risk management issue where we look at the statistics.
No, stop making conclusions.
Yeah. So if I can finish my sentence, I'd really be thankful to you. It'd mean a lot to me, and I'd be your friend.
Fuck you.
Right? Yeah, I know. Thanks. God, I lost my train of thought. Good work. Good work.
It's a risk management.
Talking about the
risk
violence in England or whatever.
Yeah, risk management. So we take a look at what are the causes of death: falling rocks, angry grizzly bears, and handguns. You know, that followed by this and that, and then rifles. So we said, well, shit, a lot of people are dying from handguns, and knives are way down on the list. So let's go with the big ticket items. And if we find that the statistics of murder are shifting to other things, you know, and we put these restrictions in place, and people are just filling in the numbers with bats and knives, then we'll realize that gun control isn't as effective as we were hoping. And this is where I'm hoping that America can start acting like grown-ups and say, all right, let's look at our numbers, let's look at our policy, let's tweak our policy, and then take a look at the numbers. You know, instead of playing this ridiculous game of football where we just run it back and forth.
So you actually compared that to America? What did you just compare to America?
What they did in England, how they reacted, how they were assessing
England to America.
Well, no, he's really comparing like the way in which they're saying, okay, we're going to go for the big ticket items, whereas here in America, we have this attitude of, well, you know, there's a couple dozen people that die in mass shootings and hundreds or thousands that are dying in handgun-related accidents. So what are we going to put on the top of the agenda? Oh, the dozen or so people.
Oh, yeah, because it makes total sense to compare America handgun deaths to UK handgun deaths, right?
No, we're talking about the way in which it's like,
then
which
what,
end
what
of this
the
you're going
fuck
to
are you
attack.
saying?
You're going to start. All right, well, try and listen.
Stop.
If you're going to start with the
Homicide.
smallest
Fuck
problem
you,
first.
homicide.
In America, we start with the smallest problem first, and they started with the bigger
Okay,
problem
well,
first.
fucking great.
That's what he was comparing.
Are you actually fucking retarded?
I have a question. I have a question.
Or are you actually trying to compare similar things to another country's things? Because what the fuck are you doing here?
Bro, are you that dense, Psycho?
Zyka, can I ask you a favor? Can you make your point?
No, because you're trying to make points that
Well,
don't
you're
match.
But what I'm saying
onto
is
any fucking thing.
What I'm saying is you're asking people questions, you're criticizing their position and adding nothing.
Yes, I'm criticizing when I see like a fucking retarded comparison. Yeah,
right,
I'm
but
sorry
do you
for
have
that.
but do you have anything to add to this conversation? You sound a little drunk and incoherent.
Oh, I have nothing to add to that because there's nothing to actually add to because
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for participating. No offense, but I'm tired of having to stop you from derailing people. So I'm going to put you on mute for a little while. No offense.
The biggest problem I see is that when people compare like the United States to other countries when it comes to gun violence, is that they don't take into consideration like the demographics, the geographical location, or anything like that.
Well, that
And
has
they don't
nothing to do
even
with the
take
point being made.
what's that?
The point that was being made has nothing to do with that. But
Yeah.
It's a separate point. I'm just saying, like every time somebody anti-gun, they say Australia or fucking Japan or some shit like that, fucking island or something. Like we're not bordered by fucking Mexico and shit, where the fucking cartel was just
Easy, boy.
Wait a
disappearing shit.
Easy, boy.
Yo, holy shit. Wait. You got the guns for the Mexican cartels? I'm stupid because I seem to believe that the Mexican cartels got the guns from you guys.
All of the highest zones for like gun kills is all the countries surrounding America. It's all
Yeah,
like
yeah.
drug
No,
flow,
no,
pretty
no,
much.
no, no,
All
no.
hot
Okay,
times.
so what you hear today is like everyone wants to ban like AR-15s. No one
No, I want to
addresses
ban
like
all guns.
handgun crimes.
I want to ban every gun.
You shouldn't,
Yeah,
but
because the
that's
politicians don't actually want resolution. They want continued grievance that they can run on, and both sides can run on this grievance. And even if they get something done, it doesn't actually change the world, so the grievance continues.
Well, otherwise, how would you have a divide and get them elected next round?
Right?
Exactly, and funding.
Hey, I agree with that. Yeah, true.
So
But
okay, so
see,
you
wait,
guys are all victims of
wait. So real quick, Iceman,
government.
you are against
Yes, sir.
every type of regulation, any type of gun regulation. You probably want to deregulate it more, right? Do you see how your position is kind of silly?
No.
I think anyone with that position is unlikely to see how silly their positions are.
I like the. Okay, I don't think you know my position. First of all, I don't want to. I don't want to add more restrictions on the guns. I think the restrictions that are on guns right now are perfectly fine. I think the government just needs to do their job when it comes to like permitting people to own firearms.
When okay,
Well,
do you want
when you're
okay?
talking
So
about these mass shootings, a lot of those guns have already been stolen. So it's like, well, we're going to make it double illegal.
Exactly.
yeah. So I
Exactly.
want to have a question, right? If a lot of these guns are obtained, right, fraudulently because these people are criminals, right? Do you want the government acting as Big Brother, auditing you, auditing every civilian, right, to make sure that they don't have a gun? Is that what you want?
Yes,
That's what you want.
that's what I want.
No. I say what? No.
Well, I think we
What I
can
want
say
is
that,
the
like, I mean, we
government.
want it to be
What I
such that by default you have the right to own a gun, and then if there's a specific good reason to audit a person, then that might occur. I mean, you wouldn't want
Okay,
everybody audited, right?
but that's the thing, right? These people, so we just audit all anybody who has any type of criminal records that the government deems acceptable, so they cannot have a gun, right? So we
That
just
we deem acceptable, ideally, is what we want. We want the government to represent us.
well, it's going to be what they deem because representatives are going to push what they push,
Well,
and it's
now
not going
this
to
isn't a
it's not going to be what
conversation
you
about
want.
guns anymore, though. It's a conversation about the efficacy of democracy. I mean, we can talk about that too, but I think, I mean, like, if you can't assume that the government is acting.
Here, look. Here, very simple, right? There are a lot of right now regulations and policies that both Republicans and Democrats support. Those policies are never the policies that are discussed. The policies that go into bills are dumb things, banning bump rifle, banning random ass things that people don't use.
Okay, so if
Yeah,
we
Trump will
live
keep it
in
on.
an actual functioning democracy, then what would gun laws be? Right? Like, I mean, it's a different conversation if you assume that the government is acting on behalf of the people, or if you assume that they're not. It's two completely different conversations.
The
But then you would
conversation
assume that
is
the
what's
police.
pragmatic. That's it. That's what the conversation is. Like
Oh, no. It'd be more like if you wanted to get a driver's license. You'd have to memorize this little manual, and then you'd need to do a demonstration. You know how to clean and operate a gun safely, and then you can now go out and get a gun.
See, I differ on that one. Like, I think your right to own a weapon or firearm should be like every other right we have. It should be only taken away with like due process or some real fucking legit reason.
Okay.
You shouldn't have to get a license for it. You shouldn't have to do anything for it.
so
It's a
let's see,
fucking tool.
you want less, right? You want less. And I say less than the regulations are, and you're like, no, I want the same regulations are that there exist. But actually, let's deregulate the ownership of guns to where it's a fundamental right. Where if you come out the womb, let's issue a fucking pistol.
Oh, I like that idea.
Well, what I brought up was in response to the statement that if we were to have regulations, that would be good regulations as to what they would look like. I'm not saying that I support any kind of regulation outside of due process.
Yeah. And I'm saying like the go off of what he said. I would say the same thing. Like we already have these regulations. In my ideal world, it'd be treated like any other fucking right.
Yeah, but in an ideal world, there'll be good people. There wouldn't be bad people. We'll all be shitting fucking flowers. Kids wouldn't be dying. Kids wouldn't have cancer. Well, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Yo, is anybody in here from
So
Texas?
my opinion on how we are right now, like the things that we have in place right now, are good, but I think the government just needs to do a better job at fucking like ciphering through.
Yo, is anybody arguing this from Texas?
I mean, the government trying to do a better job. I mean, they're serving their objective is being served fine. They want that division and chaos. Give them excuses to seize more power.
True.
I think Texas is doing all right. I mean, I never hear anybody from Texas arguing about gun rights.
Oh yeah, the only places that really have problems are going to be like deep inner city blue for the most part.
Oh wow!
You got any?
I'm from Texas.
Statement from General Washington.
There's somebody that disagrees, or so somebody thinks there needs more gun restrictions. That is from Texas in here.
Oh, I am from Texas, and I do think we need more gun restrictions.
How many guns do you need?
0.
At least 2, bro. A pistol and a shotgun.
Well, he said nobody would say that, so I guess he's saying you're a nobody.
I swear to goodness, I see more guns in Georgia than I did in Texas, but maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Well, I just read something in the news that North Carolina was removing the permit requirements. So I figured that's why people are talking about it today.
So I guess on your observation, there might be a question about concealed carry. It's like, in Texas, are they big about concealed carry rules and restrictions, whereas in the state you just brought up, maybe they're not?
Georgia, yeah. And I'm also, I'm married to a military guy, and Fort Benning is pretty fucking close. So, it doesn't bother me. More as I've noticed, people who are holding a gun that have the concealed thing or whatever. But maybe as a child, I didn't realize I moved out here when I was 23, and I'm 36. So I just didn't notice that many guns in Texas, really. But I was in Dallas, and right outside of it. So maybe because I was surrounded by children in kind of an upper class neighborhood, that we really didn't talk about have that many.
Well, and you might not have just been cued into it either. I mean, there's all kinds of stories like that where children don't notice things, or you don't notice things until a certain point when you have a reason, a trigger that you start paying attention from that point forward. So, I mean, that is a valid question.
That is very true, Washington. If you would have asked me when I was 18 if there was any racism in my name.
I say we send them to re-education camps to teach them not to kill each other. And I say in these re-education camps, we...
Girl, Lulu, you're gonna have to get kicked from this VC. I'm sorry, Lulu.
It's very strange. It's also.
Do you guys have an issue of mental health in those countries?
It's hard to say if it's worse than in other countries, but it's like I don't think we should underestimate the influence of darkness, because there is a lot darker here. It's a lot darker.
Sure, but you would think your people would have adapted to that by now, right?
I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, we are very
any APIs that the TikTok does, but I'm pretty well. I mean, I've done my fair share of web scraping.
Programs for that?
What?
And games? You have games like that?
Yeah. I also have pencils.
Oh, that's the real thing.
She has him in the house coddling him 24/7. I keep trying to tell her to stop that, allow him to actually go outside
certain acts, right? So if I was to grind up horses into like horse paste, right, and sell them as patties, I'd probably be able to find a market in America of people who just really don't care and get a cheap patty, right? But there's some level of like
epic commentary on the human condition and the situation that we find ourselves in and how people cope with it, and that's just so interesting to me.
Yeah, it is. It is very interesting.
But I always find it funny how, like, I mean, if we're really trying to, like, prove the Bible, I mean, why didn't it have, like, you know, advanced mathematics and physics in there?
Yeah, that's
they
the old Sam Harris quote where he's like, give me a single line in the Bible that couldn't have been written by an Iron Age human.
Yeah, because the Romans were too stupid to find out that, like, the zero existed.
The what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Zero existed. Like,
the
because that was the invention of the Muslims, Arabs.
Dude, it's crazy to look at the history of like the Muslim and Arab world and how like how intellectual things were at the beginning. Like it was so crazy how advanced their societies were. Like even in their strides that they made in geometry and architecture are some of the most cool things ever to me.
Did they not make algebra?
I think they did make algebra as well. But dude, if you go back and look at old Muslim architecture, it's some of the most beautiful buildings you will ever see. It is so cool.
Like a pun, if you say something, it's like, oh, stop doing that. That's not fun. Like, it's fun like the first 5 times you saw it, and then like, now it's become like routine. Like,
Jesus.
Take me behind the gym and teach me a lesson?
Didn't I knock you out in one punch?
No, Joe. You got confused and started fighting a crackhead in an orange shirt.
Sounds about right.
Guys popped out of nowhere and shot him 52 times. It was ruled a suicide, of course.
Funniest security tape I've ever.
Misogynist.
Huh? Sosa's like a bimbo.
Sosa? Who's Sosa?
Y'all have fun with this. I'll be right back. Hey, listen. Never drink beer in stream, okay? Y'all gonna be up and down all the time. It's fine. Listen to these things.
Girl, I'll speak the truth, girl.
The only
This has nothing to do
validation
with
you'll
that.
ever get from social media, you would never get it from your father or your family. Remember.
Okay,
wait. But like, let's be honest though. Let's be honest though. Like, your father would always say nice things about you. Like, getting social media validation, that would be a bigger deal.
Girl, you're not used to a father.
I do.
Yo,
I do have my father.
But
okay.
Bro, both of you don't have your father in your life. Like, what is this like?
Yo, you're an islander, bro. Shut the fuck up with your
That's
bro.
crazy.
Go back to
God. God, you were just defending this man. Look what Sosa just said to you. He called you an islander.
I am a chaotic neutral.
Ain't that your friend? Ain't that your friend? Ain't that your friend?
That's my nigga. That is in fact my nigga.
That's your nigga. That's your boyfriend as well.
What?
Oh my gosh, Regala.
This is how you get attention? Talk to random niggas on Discord? That's kind of crazy. You must have stooped really low.
Are you not also getting attention from random niggas on Discord?
Yeah, that Discord me. That's crazy.
What the fuck? What? You guys stop sticking your mouth.
How?
What?
I'm sorry for laughing.
So do you not realize when you talk, you sound like you got dick and balls in your mouth?
I'm fat.
You're asking how? Like, you gotta explain that. How?
There's like a lot of stuff going. You just don't speak clear. Like,
yeah, it could be that. Yeah, just because you don't speak clear, you have a dick in your mouth.
No.
Does that make sense?
That's crazy. What?
Does that make sense? Like you laughing? It sounds retarded.
Yo,
what's in heretics?
Or absolute justification to say something that is true. So I don't believe knowledge requires certainty. But
so the question was, right? How would you regulate third-party sales, or do you see third-party sales an issue to where guns are being sold to individuals that may or may not be legal?
As far as I'm concerned, it's none. As far as I'm concerned, who's buying or selling guns is nobody's business. other than for the purposes of taxation.
Yep.
Okay, so then
I do not in any way agree with the idea of stripping anybody of the right to bear arms outside of the imprisonment sentence. So once you're released to the public, you shouldn't. Well, I don't believe in releasing people to the public until they can be safely released into the public. If you can't trust them with a gun, they shouldn't be out in the public because they are a danger. I mean, it's not like we said earlier. It's I'm not going to commit crimes unless I have a gun. No, that's not how it works. But that gets into the whole like re-evaluating how the judicial system works, and that's a very complex question. It's like, well, okay, do you just throw people in jail for an arbitrary amount of time, or do we keep them there until they've been rehabilitated and we can trust them in society and they're not going to be a danger to others? Reasonably certain.
Is it really a 100% overlap? No, I mean, I see what you're saying. That anybody who can't be trusted with a gun can't be trusted to not do crimes in general, but
or with other weapons.
Or
improvise, or even make their own, because it's not remotely difficult to make your own gun. If you wanted to fire more than 100 times, maybe it is, but.
But like, if you have a person who's like mentally unstable, though, I mean, would you?
Yeah, and that's a whole nother area. Well, that is a whole nother area that we have an issue with. Of how do we? I mean, we've lapsed into this period of time where we refuse to address mental problems in this country. And when you're talking about mentally unstable, how do we evaluate that? Because it's a scary thought to have the government have power, especially right now where you see politicians flat out coming saying, oh, that person's mentally unstable. And it's like, all right, well, how do we create a system where it doesn't get abused? We don't want to be like, oh, well, you voted for the wrong person, so I guess you need to be thrown into a mental institution.
Right, but that's kind of what I'm saying, though. Like, I mean, I feel like there are definitely situations in which I would be like, okay, this person doesn't need to be locked up, per se, but at the same time, they probably shouldn't be owning firearms. I mean, it seems like there's definitely room for that.
Wait, so I do have a question right there, right? We can already actually do that, right? If they can put you on a psychiatric hold, which will hold you for 24 hours. It's called 5150, and it's been done plenty of times. So it's already available.
There are people who are kind of like in and out of psych wards, at least for periods of time in their lives. I've known multiple people like that, and I feel like with those cases, which are not particularly rare, by the way, I think it would be reasonable to say, okay, we're not going to lock you up indefinitely. I mean, you get treatment when you need it, but at the same time, you should not have like a fucking shotgun in your closet if that's the kind of person you are, because you could snap and do something that you and everyone else comes to regret, you know.
But
I feel like those situations need to be taken into consideration.
I guess.
What about the soldier who has PTSD?
Yeah, so my response is just to General Washington, because he posed as though we don't already do that. We can. We have the ability, and we do that in our society, to where we would have people locked away because somebody deemed that they're mentally incapable.
Well, we kind of do, but I mean, you can easily say there's lots of examples. You can find lots of examples of people out there on the street or in society where it's like, no, you got a violent, dangerous person. And you get people that were in jail that are still violent and dangerous, and certainly it just wound up being a criminal refinement school experience. And it's like, well, we're releasing them because that arbitrary number has been passed. And it's like, wait a minute, this person is still violent and dangerous, but, well, the number has been passed, so we're just going to release them.
Well, you can't lock people up forever. I mean, there does need to... The problem is that our juridical, prison, industrial, whatever you want to call it, is not really designed to make people functioning members of society again. It's designed to
it's getting better. It is getting better a little bit. I mean, they are trying to work a little bit on reform and provide things like educational opportunities, things like that, a little bit. It's not as bad as it used to be, but in some ways it's also worse. Depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about regular jail versus prison, I mean, those are different experiences. I mean,
General Washington,
there's a lot of things.
General Washington, this totally flies in your family Thanksgiving dinners, but doesn't fly on the serious sands of debate of the Stoa. You can't just gish gallop and make a whole bunch of ridiculous claims, avoiding the original question. Go back to it.
I have no idea what you're talking about at this point.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Well, the
Thanksgiving dinner and gish gallop. What the hell are you? I'm supposed to follow that?
There are some things that have been improved upon, at least in my state, but for the majority, it's gone down in a lot of other areas. Like there used to be education for inmates, but they've disbanded that in so many different states, but especially mine. It's gone down dramatically.
I mean, do you see the connection between states and the federal government deliberately creating a society for criminals? With things like what the other guy said, and the fact that you're increasing poverty on purpose, and the fact that they are the ones telling you to buy more guns. Do you see a connection that these guys want to get paid, and they're creating the conditions that they get paid off of your hard work and your safety?
I don't know if I see a connection, but there's definitely a pattern, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe your love of guns is a psyop. Everything like that.
Clouding my judgment, or what?
Yeah.
My love of guns.
It depends on the individual. I mean, personally, I'd say it's more tied to love of liberty, and freedom of speech and the right to bear arms are the greatest guarantors of that.
So every child who dies from a 5.56 is justified, right? To you?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you and her at the same time.
Sorry, Glucose.
Go ahead, Abe.
I was going to say, Washington, at least 2/3. I'm being gracious here. Of people shooting at the gun range are not doing it for protection. They're doing it because they enjoy it.
All right, well, you're misrepresenting what I just said. I was saying for me specifically,
I know
that is how, and I said specifically, it depends on the individual before I stated it, and then you make it about other individuals.
I know, but why is it only important about you? Why are you? I don't even know why you brought it up you, because it doesn't matter. Keep going.
Doing it for protection as well. Like you want.
She said you don't matter, bro.
Because he was stating about why I like this and what it means to me. That's why I was talking about me, because he was talking about me.
And I call bullshit because I think you enjoy it. I think you enjoy playing with your toy gun.
Toy gun.
That's two.
Toy gun.
I mean, yo. All right, yeah. Most people are going to agree. Yeah, guns are fun. Yeah, they are fun. I mean,
so how many?
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that's the primary reason and love for it.
How many children's heads? Excuse me.
It's not like I'm out there every weekend shooting guns or something, and I have an addiction to it. No, I haven't shot a gun in years.
General Washington, how many heads of children must explode like overripe tomatoes for your love of fun?
Well, how many heads of children must be cut off with knives before your love of knives is satisfied?
First of all, I don't have a love of knives. Second of all, not many children get cut off.
Disingenuous argument. Like, that is so bad. Look, just because some people own guns because they like shooting guns does not mean that is the reason why guns should be legal. There are other reasons why they should be legal, so you're just like, that is a really disingenuous way of framing that.
Yeah, what if I like shooting guns and I like the protection from guns? I mean, like that I have.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, how much does that sense of security worth for you personally? When you see the harms of this thing happening,
what are my
right?
No. The harms are not from the guns. The harms are from the culture.
The culture. Which culture?
Whoa.
Go and say
slippery
that.
Slope.
Which culture, motherfucker? Come on, let's hear it.
You're on the slippery slope there, buddy.
Yeah, which culture? Say it loud and clear. So we can all know what we already know about
in America.
Oh yeah, the culture of America. If the culture of America is such that guns are frequently used to pummel the innocent bodies of children, maybe your culture shouldn't have guns. Just think about it. Right? You're saying the same thing.
No. That's All right, like I said, the main reason I want guns and like guns is because they are the single greatest guarantor of personal liberty, and a government that doesn't just seize control, as well as personal liberty as in the home sense, home defense sense. That certainly is important.
But now, innocent children, again, innocent children do not have the personal liberty
and that
to go
that
to
is
school without wearing armor. Then what?
And we had guns before, and we didn't have
Not
these
the number
problems.
they are today.
This is,
No,
and
we
it's
had
not
guns.
the guns. The guns are not the problem. It's the people
keep
that are
saying
the
that.
problem.
Yeah,
Guns
so the
don't just
people who are the problem
guns didn't all
shouldn't
of a
have
sudden
guns,
just develop a
motherfucker.
taste for killing children.
Okay, here, look,
Bro,
right?
you making a
Cars,
disingenuous argument.
cars
bro,
aren't the
because
problem, right? Cars aren't the problem. We have people licensed to make sure that they're in the right state of mind, and then when they use it, they're held culpable, right? If your car, something happens to the car, you should report it. If something happens, you got to report it to the DMV. Somebody takes your car, you might be liable for the accident if you don't report to the DMV that the car is no longer your possession.
Okay, yeah, that too. Let's bring it to a macro scale. Iran does not deserve nuclear weapons because they cannot be trusted with nuclear weapons. Would you agree with that statement?
Frankly, I don't think nuclear weapons should fucking exist. But
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I think
I
it's
don't think guns should
definitely
exist.
a thing that needs to be addressed as to why our culture cranks out fucking psychos on a regular basis. Because like those psychos are still going to do awful things, even if
Don't ask questions about that. Just pay attention to the guns. Just pay attention to the guns.
Yo, why would I
Don't
pay attention to my
actually try and
analogy,
resort.
motherfucker?
Don't pay attention to the origin of the problem. Just pay attention to the way in which the symptom is expressed.
You're the dumbest motherfucker in the world. Crazy people exist in every culture. Every culture has crazy people.
Not like this.
Okay?
No,
You
it
saying
is
that America has more
changed.
crazy
Well,
people
no,
than
no.
Brazil?
It is changed. People used to have guns in school, and you didn't have these mass shootings in school. So what has changed? Well, the guns were still there. That hasn't changed. Something else has changed. And you're trying to blame the gun is actually ignoring what the problem is or trying to evade it outright.
And the problem is that our culture is pathological now. For whatever reason, and we can argue about the reasons why, but that is definitely the root issue as I see it.
By your logic, a pathological culture with no control over its crazy people and having just spawning murderous individuals on a regular basis, in my argument, it should not have guns. Because you guys are so pathological. You guys
Or
are so...
we could make it not pathological.
have guns.
That would be cool, wouldn't it? And
Oh,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
wouldn't have
How do you do
people
that,
like
motherfucker? Has anyone been able to do that? The answer is no. Your government officials are making your people more pathological on purpose. That's
I
the
think
truth.
it should be something that occurs at a community level and a personal level, not at the
Okay.
level of
In the
government
meantime, while you're
regulation necessarily.
sitting on your chair, like twiddling your twiddling your toes and picking your belly button, people will be shot. More people will die. Right?
And,
so
and
what are you gonna do?
who's being targeted with these attacks? First of all, it's going to
Children.
be no. Specifically,
all
'cause they're
kinds
going
of children.
They're going into churches. They're going into places where they anticipate there will not be guns. Those are the places being targeted. So the whole fear of guns and removal of guns creates an environment in which you can have the artificially high from the utilization of fear and terror tactics and a greater possibility of committing more violence. It is creating a magnet to people who are inclined to use violence. If they know everybody in that room is going to be armed, they're probably not going to try and walk in there and shoot it up.
Hey, by your logic, we should give every country on this planet nuclear weapons, so that every country will know how dangerous it would be to attack another country, and no one will ever attack each other again.
Wait, glucose, simply, right?
What?
Glucose,
Yeah.
living can, right? Do you see people? Are there a lot of armed robberies by the few criminals that can get their hand on a gun because everybody else can resist because they don't have guns?
Yeah, no, we don't see that. We don't see that at all.
All right. If you have a house that has a sign saying, I do not own guns and I hate guns and I'll just wait for somebody else to defend me. Or the house that says, you set one fucking toe in my house and I've got 60 guns I'm going to blast you to pieces with. Which house do you think you're going to try to commit an armed robbery on?
The problem with this argument is that we actually know countries where people are very heavily armed and are very low intelligence. And for a lot of the case, criminals aren't actually intelligent enough to have this kind of forethought. A lot of them will just go into an area with people who are heavily armed, start shooting, and then get their fucking head blown off. We see this in Brazil. We see this in low poverty countries, right? The reason why we have an excess of school shootings and mass shootings in the United States is purely because we stopped throwing people in the loony bin and we started prescribing them pills that they can just decide to stop taking. This is purely a symptom of a change in how we deal with the mentally ill. We used to, if you were a person that was like, man, I like to skin animals and kill people, we throw you in the loony bin and you don't come out. That person never gets to have a school shooting. We didn't tolerate transgenderism. We didn't tolerate homosexuality. We threw these people away.
Okay.
That is the only thing that's changed.
Bro. There's a lot of bullshit with no statistics behind it. So, shut up. Now,
okay. Let me provide you some statistics, Glue.
Yeah, you go find it later. I got a point. My point is...
Your opponent's stupid.
Bro. Yeah. I haven't said it yet. My point is that if you look at the number of guns owners... Give me a second.
Glucose. Aren't we supposed to mute people who say the trans people shouldn't exist?
Oh yeah, you go ahead and mute her.
Not exist. Kill them.
Oh yeah, wow, shit.
They are a threat to national security.
That's a server ban right there.
I'm gonna take
that is a server ban.
Yeah. Thank you, General Washington.
I was on his side until he said that. I was like, yeah, all right.
I muted the guy, but I don't know how to server ban him.
I'll ban him right now.
No. That is a server ban offense. You cannot be on here openly advocating for the extermination of human beings.
Yeah,
Wait, but I think that guy...
And he's doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on it. I mean, that is a server ban. That can get the server shut down.
I mean, he's one of the dysfunctional ones, right? That needs to have his Second Amendment right protected, right?
Yes,
he's going to be people that has a gun. And bro is actually studying in med school right now.
That guy sounds like he's trying to be edgy and an asshole.
No, those are his real views.
But do you think he will go out and do those things?
Let's see.
I think
it's not for you to
okay, I can say I want all pedophiles to be deleted. Am I going to go do it? No.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
actually, that is kind of funny. That is actually one thing you can pretty much advocate for violence, and nobody's going to enforce that one.
Right. So,
I mean, you could say that I believe there should be a death penalty. If you're talking about a legal system, you can actually advocate for that, technically speaking. But
wait. Okay, I'm going to go back to this gun thing. There's one clear statistic that you guys should look at. There's a very clear correlation. The number of guns over the last 20 years appearing in the public's hands and a number of school shootings. This is like the same fucking chart. Right? How do you explain this? How do you explain this similarity?
Correlation doesn't equal causation.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. Every first year whatever student knows how to say that. Come on, dig a little deeper. That's the only statistic that seems to be completely clear. Right? So how do you explain it? Besides,
so here we go. All right. So like he was saying, we've become more acceptable about mental issues like transgender and gay people and like that. So we're more accepting of people who have mental issues. Like you wouldn't you hear this all the time. Like if somebody does something, everyone says, "Oh, he's crazy. He did this," but no one locked them up when we already knew that they were crazy. So he had a point with that. So that's probably why
we should lock up the minds and
here's another statistic.
They're mentally ill, right?
You guys have 120 guns per 100 people, and you're the only country on this planet with this problem. The next highest is like 40 guns per 120 people, 100 people. Right? That's like 3 times more than the next highest. Right? You don't see any pattern here?
No one else has.
You don't see a fucking pattern?
No one else has had a history like America, right?
Are you fucking shitting me? No one else has had a history like America. Like, what's so special about you guys that makes you excuse school shootings?
Wait. But by that metric, you can't make a comparison to anything.
Yeah, are you guys aliens?
Well,
no, you're fucking humans like the rest of us.
Again, we don't have a major problem. We don't even have a major problem. I mean, we're talking about like a couple dozen people a year out of the millions.
Dude, it's like
I mean, it's like no, this is a media sensation.
Guy.
No, and you look at the numbers, it's like, what, in the past, like, 10 or 15 years, we've had 300, 400 people, but just this year, we've had 100,000 fentanyl deaths. I mean, the disproportionate attention given this is utterly ridiculous.
Holy shit. Oh my god. It's called fucking pivoting, man. Holy shit.
Pivoting? No.
Yeah, you're pivoting. You're pivoting. You're pivoting.
This is a national crisis. And it's like, okay, all right. If these things are not national crises, no, this is not a national crisis.
Yeah,
it's
the fentanyl crisis is a national crisis.
It's a fraction of the other bigger problems.
Okay, fentanyl is a national crisis according to many cities and the federal fucking government. So what's the problem? Now go back to fucking guns. Jesus Christ, it is a problem. How many things have we had just this year?
I'll look up the number.
Okay, so guns are not the problem. Like, I don't
38 mass shootings, 57 killed, 133 injured. Guns are not the problem?
No, guns are not the problem.
Really? Even at that number? No?
It's those people who are the problem. It's not the guns.
Yes, but now they have a tool, right? And what's the tool designed to do, right?
You can use any tool for anything. It all depends
It's
on
not
the
true.
person. Yes.
Okay.
You can use literally any tool to kill someone.
Yep.
So
Okay, let's say we gave.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
So let's say we gave every school shooter, like we had this magic device to go, and before they did their school shooting, we took away the gun and armed them with an axe. Right? What would the numbers look like? Would it still be 38 mass killings, 133 injured, and 57 killed? If every one of them had an axe instead of a gun?
Whoa, wasn't there some guy that was stabbing people in Vegas, bro? And there was a bunch of people around him, and he stabbed like 10 or 12 people, and people just looking at him, bro, like recording and shit.
I'm looking at the statistics right now. It's like the highest yearly average we've seen, or whatever, number of deaths per year. The highest was 12.
Yeah, 57
in the United States. In the United States, maybe you're looking at a global or something. I don't know.
No, it's not global. It's America only.
Okay,
it's not. The news just came out yesterday or day before. It's a good reputable news source called Axios. I don't know if you listen to their podcast. It's very good. The numbers are very clear. 57 people have died in 38 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this month. Not even this year, this month, with another 133 injured. Wow.
That sounds more accurate.
Mass shootings. What are they counting as mass shootings?
Okay, yeah, they get this. Okay, so if urban children shooting an urban school, for you, that's not a mass shooting because they're from a gang, right? I get it. I get what you mean.
A mass shooting is what, more than 4 people?
Bro, a dude went to a club and shot up the club and killed like 5 people in Chicago. Like, that's a mass shooting.
Yeah, that's
like,
that's a mass shooting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right. And he got that gun illegally. Well, it's not the gun; it's the people.
Yeah, when you say illegally, did he steal the gun from a legal source, or is there some invisible factory issuing illegal guns to criminals? What do you mean?
Well,
if you buy a gun illegally, like you don't buy it from a registered dealer, it's illegal. That's it.
Wait.
There you go. There's plenty of fucking guns around. Illegal guns. They can become illegal like in a minute.
You can buy guns through private sales. It's completely legal.
No. I mean, like, if you buy it and you don't get the paperwork because it's a fucking pistol and you don't get the background check and you don't do all the fucking legal shit, it's illegal. Like, if you're under 21, because most of the mass shoot and most of the fucking gun deaths are done like by underage motherfuckers who shouldn't be.
Was that gun legal to begin with and then made illegal by the purchase, or
more than likely, yes.
Yeah, so it was legal to begin with. So the same fucking problem, dude.
So, all right. So, if you this train will just keep going. Get rid of guns in America. Guns come from Mexico. Get rid of guns in Mexico. You gotta get rid of guns in somewhere else. Like, it's just going to keep going until you say, "Hey, we gotta get."
You guys are the biggest
the whole fucking world.
Private gun manufacturer in the world. Holy fuck! What are you talking about?
I know Australia fucking did it. I know that is smaller, but still, this is ridiculous. And Illinois has one of the strictest gun laws, but being that the states around it don't, it's very easy to travel from state to state. So it's Forrest, what we're arguing right now is
in those states
the public level. It's the guns are the people that cause the shootings.
And in
I
those
say it's
states
the
that
guns.
surround Illinois, it's still
Well,
illegal for them to purchase
Look,
the guns. Like
It's a combination.
as many
It's really
as 90% of all
when
guns
it comes
from Mexico is
yeah,
from the
when it
U.S.
comes to it's people, right, is really the problem. It's people's attitudes towards guns. If people had a different attitude towards them and wouldn't be such scared shitless cucks, in my view, they wouldn't buy as many guns. These people that are doing this have a mental problem, which is why, you know, these gun manufacturers are making a killing off of people who have mental problems.
Oh yeah, hoarding is a problem. It's a mental problem. So if you have like a bunch of guns at home, you got a problem.
Yeah, they're scared shitless. These people are scared. How can they possibly handle all these guns at once? Right?
How many guns is too many guns? Because I got a lot. Like, what is this?
Yeah,
Well,
how many do you need, motherfucker?
As many as I want. That's how many I need.
No.
Do you have a down payment for your next house?
Huh?
Do you have a down payment for your house?
I have a house. No, I don't need a down payment for it. Like how many guns do you think are too much?
No.
Like I want
No,
a rifle, I want a bullpup, I want a shotgun, I want an RPG, I want an SMG, I want all of the guns. You can own an RPG.
An RPG?
Yeah,
RPG?
Yeah, you can own an RPG.
I know, man. Why do you need one of these?
Why do I need one? Because I
Yeah.
want one.
I see. So it's an emotional situation then. It's emotional need then.
No.
Again, I'm going to go back to my original question to you.
No. My first reason for wanting an RPG is because it defends me against the government if I want to.
Man, that's a slippery slope.
RPG is totally useless against the Predator drone. Totally useless.
The Predator drone?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe that the government is going to go around fucking droning American cities.
They already do. Not American citizens, but they already be droning people, bro.
Yeah, they're drone.
So what do you?
people-
So
they
what do you?
drone
So what do
people
you
in other
protect?
countries,
Okay,
not
hang
in
on.
America.
So hang on. Let's explore that particular claim. So what do you think the government is going to do then? That you're protecting yourself with an RPG?
I think the government is going to like if the government
Enjoy his guns.
were to be that tyrannical, it would be like more boots on the ground. It wouldn't be like drones and bomb strikes. and
Why
shit like that.
why would they use boots on the ground when they can? Why would they sacrifice their own troops to
They got
take
police
you out
dogs.
when they can just use their drones to take you out so easily because they know you can't defend against it?
Because they won't.
That
try
would be
to-
a dumb thing to do. If I was tyrannical, you're a poor chess player, right? Because that they have way more firepower than you have.
Okay,
right?
how
You
much
can
of-
even the
Is that Jordan
Russians have more
Peterson?
firepower.
How much of your own infrastructure are you risk to destroy to like get a win?
Oh, they can target those pretty accurately. U.S. has very accurate targeting systems. They can even just pummel you from artillery. What are you going to do
Defund
with
the
a
police
defeated
to drive.
RPG? Right?
The U.S. government would not fucking destroy their own cities. To
Okay,
get
so
a
you're
win.
saying that U.S. government's not going to do that, then why? And you need your guns to prevent them from doing that. Then
I hate to sound like a prick. I hate to sound like a prick, but are we really going to have a discussion on citizen ownership of rocket-propelled grenades in my channel?
Yes.
Really? Really?
What's going
Are
on?
you guys going to do this to me? Oh my god.
See, this is what happens. This is what happens when you
Yeah,
allow
but-
people who are wrong, like General Washington, to procreate, and then this guy like Iceman Heat Boy comes out.
So now that Rex is here, I want to change the discussion to how did your car get fixed? I'm really curious.
It was.
You don't.
It was a
RPG.
It was a stabilizer bar, I think, on the rear left side, and then they replaced the shocks in the front. So my rear wheels are still a little bit jazzy from the bad shape, but it's not. It doesn't feel like I'm flying a helicopter anymore.
So you still have your cup tires? The tread being weird in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably what's causing the little bit of crop that because you'll hear a sort of a you'll hear it even on a nice smooth pavement surface. If you roll down your windows, you'll hear your tires kind of make this sticky sound that goes tick 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 like you have studs or something. Right? So they have if that's what the sound it makes, it's your tires because you'll get kind of a growly noise when your tires are. That's still it's not necessarily vibration, but the noise is kind of growly, kind of because as it's trying to. Because your treads aren't even anymore, right? So.
Oh, here you go. Found that the sway bar links for the rear are bad. Both sides will need to be replaced. Removed and replaced. And then they removed front sway bar links, front strut, removed and replaced front strut, and then did the alignment.
Oh, you had a bad strut?
There you go.
Both.
That was expensive.
Yeah. Oh my God! I spent like $1,700 total to repair the car this time.
Yeah, because the struts are like the shock and everything, right? So that's the whole assembly. So. But did you say you hit a curb or something with the front ones?
Yeah, I thought it was that, and maybe that's part of what happened with the connection. Like I was driving through the capital city, and the capital city streets are.
Like y'all listen to this shit. Like this is just way off. Like I'm trying to explain how. Like, all right, so RPGs. All right, cool. You want to have RPG? Get a fucking RPG. Get a fucking RPG. There's no and like I think these guys are like so brain rotted that they think that every single last person who can buy an RPG is going to go out and fucking blow shit up. People already own RPGs. People already own grenades. People already own tanks and shit. Like, you don't hear about this happening every fucking day. So it makes no sense to think that, oh, what are you gonna do? Like, nigga, people already do this shit. People already own this shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Infrastructure.
Yeah, that's why everybody drives an SUV because the roads will do savage to your nice precision sedan. Like, my God.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. They're so precision these days. Yeah, you got to be careful. They're not quite like a Formula One or whatever, but they're so good these days. I mean, the cars, we wished for cars that drove like that when I was younger. Right? That's why I would never buy an old car anymore. I got this. What do they call that? Midlife crisis. I'm going to rebuild my '69 Charge. I'm going to buy one and relive my life. But those things are horrible. Right? They feel like you're driving a big boat. Right? They feel dangerous. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah,
when you're driving an old Ford pickup and it's all rattly and shit.
Yeah, that's even worse. No, I'm talking about like the car that I loved. My favorite car when I was younger was a '69 Charger, one of those Dukes of Hazzard things, right?
Yep.
So, but they're so big, and they don't handle well. They don't have independent rear suspension. I don't know. They just don't feel safe anymore, right? They roll when you drive them, when you do a corner.
In Nashville, and I'm gonna be upfront and I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm using this for attention. My personal beliefs are we should not be politicizing shooters of any kind that put their hands on children. They're not trans, they're not white, they're not black, they're not gay, they're not straight. They're just monsters. Can we all agree on that?
Agreed.
People who shoot children. Yes, I agree with you. Yes.
Buggin, spoken like a true politician.
All right. So, now that we're getting into this, does anyone have like a status they would like to say? So, how do we think that, like, especially not just Tennessee, but the entire federal government's going to approach this? Because this is being talked about as if it's a hate attack on trans people, even though a trans person was the one to shoot up the school. But how do y'all think they're going to address this situation at the federal level?
I think it's absolutely absurd to quantify because I've actually seen this take on Twitter, and it was fucking brain dead, right? Where there was somebody, I don't know if they were trolling or not, who said that the cops shooting that person were being transphobic because that person was not actually doing violence. And I'm like, are you fucking brain dead, right? We can say, I am assuming everybody here can assume that it's completely okay to gun down a fucking monster who has killed kids, regardless of whether or not they're trans, cis, or anything like that. I'm assuming that's the furthest line that we can all agree on.
What's even better is I've seen takes on Twitter saying all trans people need to start carrying guns to defend their right to be trans.
Well, I actually agree with that. I think
How about
But as
everyone
a
care-
result of this, that's
everyone
retarded.
cares again.
Like
Yeah, well, yeah, as a
nobody's
result of
putting
it, that is a dumb, point to make for the
Right.
Second Amendment. I'll give you that. But at
Yeah,
the end
it
of the
should
day,
have
I still
always been-
support them having a gun. I
yeah,
support
sure, but I
everybody
mean, like to say that the reasoning is because of like how this play. I mean, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, you're right, Spooky, on that point. I'll agree with
that I agree with. To say that this is the impetus on why you need a firearm. No, you just need a firearm to defend yourself from those that would choose to do you harm in a deadly force manner. That's it.
Everyone should
Everyone-
train
What do you think
and
about-
do the
'cause
dick
I've
and
been
drill.
looking at it- I've been looking at-
Not to be crass, but I guess those Christian teachers should have sold a few cloaks for some swords. Am I right?
I've been looking on Twitter, and I don't agree with this whatsoever. But they were trying to say, and the left wing do it, and the right wing do it, and this is what I hate. I'm neither of those things, but I found it very interesting on Twitter. All the right wing people were saying, "Look, there's been two trans people that have, do you remember, like a couple of years ago, there was a trans person that shot up a gay club, and they were looking. Oh, if you look at the proportions of who shot up who, it turns out that trans people are like 50 times more likely, just because the numbers are so small with regard to
Wait,
population.
what do you?
No, do you
Wait,
think
are you talking about the? Are you talking about the? What was the name of that nightclub?
Pulse? You talking about the Pulse nightclub shooter?
Yeah.
They weren't friends. What are you talking about?
It was if I remember correctly, it was an Arab.
Well, I can't remember. It was like
Yeah,
it was
they
like
were not
years ago.
friends.
No, they're not talking about that one. I know what they're talking about. They're talking about a shooting that happened last year where it was like someone shot up a gay club, and then it was later on found out that they were bisexual or something after they investigated it.
Okay.
But
Okay,
like
well,
they weren't trans.
Yeah, I didn't think they were
So rather than a hate crime, some of that shit might just be personal beef that spills out.
Potentially.
Yeah, but the question is, because people try to say this about computer games, they try and blame a lot of shit. But do you think maybe there is truth to it? I don't know. Do you think there's any chance that people that transition go through more kind of what do you call it when it's your mind? Like psychological problems, and therefore they're more inclined. They have more stresses in their life. Therefore, they're more inclined to do something like that.
I wouldn't say that they're more inclined to a propensity of violence. What I would say is, as a baseline, right, and this is where I might catch a mute. I would say that when we look at the concept of what gender dysphoria as a thing is, right, gender dysphoria is inherently is like this internal disconnection in your brain of your mind of what you feel you are versus what is externally like presented out, right? And because of that gender dysphoria, it causes a lot of mental issues inside of someone's head, right? Now, I'm not saying that leads towards violence. What I'm saying is that we do need to potentially address the concept of mental health for trans people before we start talking about potentially taking away rights or impacting them.
I would agree with that, because I do believe that no matter which way you look at it, whether it's gender dysphoria or not, like if someone is truly uncomfortable with how they are as a person, and this goes for people that are suicidal, depressed, or anything along those lines, these people need help. And if and obviously, if you don't feel comfortable with who you are, you're obviously going to try to do something to change that. Right. And if you feel there's no way to change that, you're going to take it out on yourself or other people.
But the natural progression of that is, for example, in America, in most states, if you are mentally ill or suffer from mental illness, you're incapable of buying a weapon, for example. And I just wonder if we start using those kind of terms when it comes to trans people, I feel like their rights actually might be taken away. Because if you associate mental illness with trans people, I think that may be a problem.
This is where I go radically into this. I don't even think it should be okay to fucking stop people from who are quote unquote quantified as mentally ill from infringing on their Second Amendment rights.
From the right to self-defense, the right to self-defense should be natural law and completely, like even for felons or anything like that, for sure.
Because the assumption here when we talk about people as mental illness is that they can never get better, which is something I don't believe in. I think when you're mentally ill with proper medication or treatment or proper therapy, you can improve. Like you shouldn't as a mental illness thing, you shouldn't just like, oh, it's my identity that I'm mentally ill and this is the way.
Damnation! I hate to interrupt y'all. Hold up, pause. Before we continue, can an admin or a mod in here increase the room? Oh wait, Damnation, you need to turn your camera off. That's why.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No.
Also, can I just
Iceman do it too?
One at a time,
please.
Iceman,
turn it off.
I
don't know if you need it.
Mental illness. I don't believe mental illness and the trans people. I don't think those two things should be equated because I don't think people that are transsexual are mentally ill. And can you see why that could be kind of a bit of a problem when it comes to like how we talk about it socially with each other? Because if we've already established it's a mental illness without even going into it, I think therein lies the problem.
Why?
I also just, if I may clarify really quickly, like there's been a lot of punditry around, just like there is, usually from the other side, every time that there's a mass shooting, there's been a lot of like jumping on this to try and advance a political point by the right in this instance, right? Even though, again, typically it's in the other direction. In the last, like I was looking into it, right? And in the last, I think, 4 decades, there have been like 141 like mass shooting events, and 3 of them were carried out by people who are trans, which works out to 0.02%, right? Like the representation, there's not an overrepresentation of trans people in this like group of people that are mass shooters. If anything, it's a slight underrepresentation, but I mean, it's in and around this like a proportionate amount to what percent of the population they comprise. So I just want to dispel that really quickly.
For sure.
Oh, I did want to quickly mention something if I could have the floor.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So the talk on like trans people feeling like alienated or some sort of issues, like I find that's often a societal problem. Like the trans people that I know, let me finish my point. The trans people I know that are in California or parts of like Canada, their life experiences are vastly different and they're a shit ton happier. For the most part, they don't have the same issues with depression that, say, the majority of trans people who live in the US have. I think that I know it's like an impossible ask of just like, hey, maybe just treat trans people well and they won't have so much depression. Like this, I think that the majority of the issues with mental health are a function of how society treats trans people, especially in the American South.
Exactly, and Pearl, this goes into a conversation that me and you have had all the time, and a lot of the situations when it comes into mental health and how trans people feel they're denied, it can be as simply as what me and you have talked about on numerous occasions, pronoun culture, and not addressing trans people as their preferred pronouns, which I think if you don't address a trans person as their preferred pronouns, I think it's incredibly rude, especially if they haven't done anything to you, but at the same time, people are going to have these beliefs. And it's very hard to ask, especially like a bunch of conservative people from below the Mason-Dixon line to say, hey, hey, can you just call me this even though you believe this doesn't exist? And at the same time, while they're being rude, they're also upholding their moral values and their moral beliefs, which is their right as an American citizen. So this is a huge conflict of interest. So is a moral value in a First Amendment right, could it be potentially considered as a hate crime? And this is what it's going to basically divulge into, and I just think it's gonna enter a shit show if something like this continues to happen. And it's just insane that people think that this is socially acceptable to go around and take this shit out on children that have nothing to do with the way you were perceived as a human being.
So, if I may,
I've been quiet. So, Buggin, like, to be fair, I feel like that there's a line, like, in this, like, someone dropping the N-word is their First Amendment right? Like, someone walks up to a black guy, calls him the N-word, he's not going to be charged with a hate crime. But, like, if he does it repeatedly and is like, you dirty N-word, get the F out of my town, and, like, follows and harasses that person to a great extent, like, all I want to point out is, like, even considering, like, it, like, if, like, two things, you can make the same argument for people using the N-word, and even applying the same stuff we do to the N-word that we would to, misgendering someone, it would still not be, like, you misgender someone and you get charged with something, you know?
In the States, there's no hate.
Yeah, in the
crime.
States, yeah, obviously in the States. I don't know how it is elsewhere.
Widespread depression of African Americans after all their time being oppressed, yet as trans people are marginally oppressed and they've all got depression.
Okay, how about this? Look, I think we all kind of
Marginally
agree.
depressed.
Virtually, if you're over the age of 18, you can do what you like, and there should be freedom allowed there.
Yeah.
But the problem I have, or maybe not the problem I have, it's a question to everyone in this room. How do you feel about people under 18, even under 10 at this stage, that are getting sex changes? Like, what do you think? Do you think there could be any problem with that?
So,
well, there
hold
are
on,
sometimes
hold on,
in
hold on.
which people underage go through hormone therapy because they need to, because they're of particular health conditions, right? And I'm choosing hormone therapy as just a way of just kind of being medium in the subject, right? But I am the firm believer that they're full well entitled to make the choice after 18. But there are some cases from which the individual has health reasons of taking hormone therapies or needing it, and that's the only thing I'm going to add to this bit. And then you guys can continue.
So
no, but that I don't think you're arguing against my point.
I'm not. But there are some instances from which that it's just needed, and a lot that I just want that to get.
No. I think everybody agrees when I ask that question. I'm talking about a normal, healthy child that they get.
Well, if you're a normal, healthy child, they're not going to be someone referred to for this type of care.
True. This is a true statement.
Biologically healthy.
Transgender is unhealthy. Boom.
Oh no, it's a different transgender children is a
It's gender dysphoria, and these kids need mental health.
This is actually not true. Sometimes you'll have these groups of girls who
Let him finish.
these groups of
I'm
girls
literally
just show up to houses.
I'm talking through this in real time, so just give me a little bit of a space to figure this out, right? So, when we talk about transgender children, right, there's a lot of things to consider this, right? One of the... in my fundamental belief, I believe that there's an inherent power dynamic that is present when you're dealing with children versus adults, right? And the one thing that I care the most about is stopping the potential for any trenders, like a amorphous child, from being influenced externally by somebody who has their ideology forced upon them, right? And I'm not saying that's the thing that's like prevalent or anything like that. Like but like that's like the one area that I'm really cautious about allowing children to transition.
I tell you what, when it even comes to like trans children being like referred to, or it might not just be trans children, it might be just be like majority of people that are referred to like gender clinics. I think like around like half of them end up getting denied, and most of them just end up being like like called under just like gender non-conforming, not really trans.
Right.
Yeah,
I
believe it's
think
actually
they
around
have a
80%.
pretty good percent of, like,
80% don't actually go through with like any, like once they've been referred, they're evaluated and they get rejected.
in England, 12,000 in a year, 12,000 children under the age of 16, and the clinic had to be shut down. It was in Northern England because the government had to step in and stop giving the hormone blockers or whatever they were giving to boys.
What do you mean they had to step? No, they just were never.
I don't know what's going on.
They never proceeded with receiving anything because they were evaluated and they were not found to be like needing it.
A lot of these people are not referred to by their doctors. You'll have like groups of girls who will just show up because it's culturally they get the sense that they're not gender balanced, and so you'll have these groups of women who will go in and they'll get these. They don't even need a referral; they'll just seek out care, and then if the people are supportive, if the doctors there are supportive against for putting them under giving them hormonal blockers, they'll just do it, even if. I mean, it happens. It may not always happen.
We understand that, like, under the ideology, like, if you were to fully subscribe to the idea, like, buy into everything that is purported by like people who are in favor of, whatever, like completely validate trans identities and all of this stuff, that an entailment of that is to say that for someone who is not trans, like if there's, you have a cis man who has no, like he's not actually trans and doesn't want to be a woman, whatever, or like maybe he does, but he's misguided or something like that, that like transitioning that person to a woman would then trigger them suffering from gender dysphoria, right? Because they're not in the gender that is the one they want to be, right? So I don't think that it doesn't make, I can see the reasoning for sure, and I absolutely understand the like sense that like, oh, we want to be careful because a lot of these things are going to be like, it's not like you can just change your mind after like certain, you can't have a surgery and be like, oh, just kidding, right? Yeah, and I get that. But to say that like there is some sort of wholesale, like we need to just push everyone through that says for a second they want to be trans or something is not true, because within the same reasoning, it goes to follow that like you don't want to transition people that are not actually trans because you're going to cause the thing that you're trying to remedy.
I think it's very important.
I just think all these people on TikTok are trying to force gender dysphoria on children.
Oh my God.
It's really weird.
You can't force gender dysphoria on a person.
Yeah, let Chewie go.
Yes, you can. Okay, then feel free to share sources of proof.
Hang on. Let
literally
Chewie go. She got cut off.
I don't believe you can force gender dysphoria, but there's a poll that came out of England recently, I think last year, and it said 47% of people under the age, so these are school children.
I think maybe
40% of them identify with the LGBTQ plus community. And I think that's why
they're like not sure about their sexuality, and then they look at the transgenders.
Guys, someone's been trying to speak for like the past minute, and she keeps getting cut off.
Yes, I mean, I guess if you want to put it in like a different perspective when it comes to like pushing gender dysphoria, I don't know, if you put like a cis man, make them really feminine, they're gonna experience dysphoria, right? They're not gonna feel comfortable looking feminine. I guess the same thing applies to trans women. They're not gonna be comfortable looking masculine, right? And I think I don't know, but I mean, if we're talking about like, I understand the constant worry for putting like trans kids and putting them on like hormones and puberty blockers. I understand why people might be worried with that because it's like medication, and people don't like, or I guess people are under like the perception that we don't like fully understand it, right?
And in terms of legislation, it doesn't matter what I believe. I'm just going to tell you what's happening in America. In a lot of states, what's happening is back when I was growing up, I'm 33 years old, and sex education to me used to be a bunch of pictures involving diseased genitals, and they were like, "Don't have sex." And I think now it's totally changed, where they're talking about partners and you should have sex with and stuff. That was never part of my education growing up. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just interested in what you think.
Well, people say that it's okay to have sex, so that in and of itself is a moral odd claim.
They're going to do it anyway. What are you talking about?
No, you can change the rates, dude. Whether
but
I don't understand. Hold up, before we continue, I don't understand this like thing where people just automatically say in the middle of a sentence. They're gonna do it anyways. It really depends on the relative degree. I think anyone who has like two brain cells to scratch together understand that basically like
Yeah, if you learn about murder, you're gonna murder
Let him
someone.
finish. No, that's not what was said. Sociology, in terms of just sociology, right? We know that society can affect individuals' behaviors. So necessarily, how we basically conduct ourselves and the mores we present within our given society, including within our education, is going to have an impact. That's just it.
So that's either they're going to
when
have sex or
someone-
have sex and feel
So
bad
when
about it.
when someone makes a moray, where when they say no, this is taboo, and then someone else basically says no, this isn't taboo. It's
Do you also
perfectly
believe
fine,
that being
it's
gay is a
perfect.
social contagion?
Let him
Thank you very
finish,
much.
bro. Come
It's
on.
perfectly
hold yourself.
acceptable. That in of itself is going to make someone more or less likely to treat it as acceptable. This is a moral claim. It isn't descriptive. It isn't something that's based on fact or science. It's literally something that's based on opinion. Now, going on further, there was an interesting comment that was made. There are some people under the presumption that we don't fully understand this. The claim is we don't fully understand this. If we did, the
Talking about the
FDA would
medication.
have a standard on this. Basically, the NHS would have a standard on this. By and large, they don't. The FDA still hasn't even approved, based on the studies submitted, the FDA still has yet to approve any form of hormonal therapy or puberty blockers for kids who are experiencing
It's
gender
approved
dysphoria.
off-label. That's a lie. It's approved
Oh,
off-label.
what does that mean? Go ahead and explain off.
So what that means is when
introduced
the
to
drug
help
was designed,
kids.
much like the drug that we use for men who can't get it up, Viagra, it was originally intended for one purpose, right? HRT was originally intended for cisgender people who were not going through puberty in what we would call a normal way. But then doctors did more research and they found that its off-label use could be used in cases of gender dysphoria, and that is approved by the FDA.
Okay, go ahead and provide that.
Viagra?
Provide that.
I would also
Wait, no.
like to-
It is approved.
That's an important point. Please
No,
provide
that
this
was,
information.
I would like to see that because my understanding is that it is not.
I'm going to be quick.
It's not.
I
You guys
was
about Bitcoin?
in a different VC and I read live now, trans people rights being under attack. Please correct, it's not trans people, it's just trans, okay? That was all. Thank you. Take care. Good night.
Alright, you're muted. You've muted and yeet that guy out of the fucking channel. Get rid of him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can I just get a?
Can I ask a question to the? Because we've heard everyone's opinion on trans children, but we've only had one opinion so far in terms of I was going to say chemically altering children when they're younger, and what's the consensus between the trans community here?
So I've been trying to talk on this subject for a moment. So anyways, I think the main issue is like a lot of people have been saying things like sex changes before 18. Like surgeries for the most part don't happen before 18. And this is a completely reversible process. Meanwhile, I think that what's being ignored is like the alternative of not providing this is like forcing an individual through a pseudo not reversible process, since if you stop puberty blockers, puberty continues. Oh, good night.
Who the fuck is this?
Who is that?
Thank you.
There it is.
Anyway.
But I think that what is being completely ignored is like, hey, this is a reversible process. This has like it is. Anyways, like it, and the alternative isn't, and we're not talking about surgery, and we're also talking about
what?
Mm-hmm.
No. What define reversible? Because
essentially,
because HRT is not reversible objectively.
Not reversible.
What do you mean by not reversible?
Only if you're on it for years. It is not reversible. Only if you're on it for years.
No, because we've had. Wait, I want to push into this. I mean, what do you mean by like not reversible? I mean, some side effects of HRT won't be reversible.
The reason why I'm asking this is because they
let people finish.
I believe males.
They were asking for clarification of the question.
So what I'm saying. So what I'm saying, like, it's not like I'm not stating, go go put them on an estrogen regimen. I'm talking about pushing puberty forward to the point that they're 18 and can decide what type of puberty they want. That is reversible, and there's a deep research.
Hold on. Hold on. I actually want to jump right in here. Like, there's actual studies that illustrates that if you are on puberty blockers past the age of 16, right, that basically you don't go through puberty after that.
But people don't
ever again.
What the fuck? No.
You go through an elapsed puberty. It is what it is.
So I got some information on
before you
sorry, folks.
The point why the word reversible is so important here is because you said something particularly comparative, right? Well,
you keep letting
let him finish his point.
Sit.
Wait,
you keep letting certain things sit that aren't accurate.
What am I letting?
That's just paternalism 101. What are you talking about? Everything.
And also, there's like a binary argument going around about what is and is not reversible with regards to HRT. Unless you're on it for multiple years, everything associated with HRT will go back to the way it was before you started HRT. When we talk about things like decreased bone density in trans women or increased risk of heart disease, unless you're on hormones for years and years, let's say during your first year of HRT, you decide, oh, I'm not trans anymore, this isn't for me, I want to go back to the cis puberty, everything will go back to the way it would have been if you would have never done that.
Incorrect.
To back up the claim, hold on. To back up her claim, I have got an article from transcare.ucsf.edu that backs up a little bit of what she's saying here, and I'll read it off. It says some of the effects of hormone therapy are reversible if you stop taking them. The degree to which they can be reversed depends on how long you have been taking testosterone. So things that are not reversible are like clitoral growth, facial growth, hair growth, voice changes, and male.
Yeah, those don't kick in for
male
years.
pattern baldness. But but these are the things that aren't like some things aren't reversible, but other effects
as an
are.
example, right? I've been on testosterone.
I will provide the
people. That's what I literally. My doctor is literally the person that wrote that. It's Bria. It's I'm sorry, Madeline Deutsch, right?
This is on Wikipedia. This is on Wikipedia. It is true that some.
I was reading it.
I have provided.
Am I not allowed to speak? Sorry.
No, everyone's preempting a point, and no one.
Talking over each other. Stop talking over each other, please.
Yeah, everybody kind of cut off Esoteric.
You don't want to be sitting here muting people, but we need to go on.
Might have to. I'm gonna get out of this game, and then that's like I gotta go. So, wait, am I talking? Yeah, I'm gonna get this game and then go. Sorry, I'm fucked up. All right, that's how you don't drink beer on the fucking stream, bro. Like, I'm let's see, maximize this screen. Ooh, all right. Fuck. Fuck it. Nah, I don't care. Fuck it. I'm gonna keep it small. Sorry. We're gonna keep that right.
Take puberty blockers for greater than a year, you will have some permanent side effects that are not easily mitigated, such as effects on your bone density, effects on your height, effects on your genital growth.
Let him finish.
Right? Now, furthermore, there was a particular claim that the FDA has approved basically puberty blockers for adolescents, specifically for the sake of gender-affirming care. I would like to see that.
They have,
and off-label, it's approved.
I would like to see that.
Right? For precocious puberty.
Yeah, it's approved for precocious puberty. Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah,
not for gender affirmation.
And that's the on-label.
Overhyping the side effects so hard.
We can just look up whether it's true or not that like the off-label approval is a type of thing. I believe it is, right? There's plenty of shit like this.
So like doctors would get sued by the federal government if they did not at least have off-label approval to, because the way the hold on, let me finish. The way the healthcare system works. the way the healthcare system works in America is every treatment has to be tied to a specific diagnosis, and that treatment has to be shown in the literature, the scientific literature, that treatment is effective. Because if it's not, and the patient was not informed that their treatment was experimental, then they can sue you for malpractice. That is not the case.
If you guys don't mind me hopping in,
just to let people know,
There's a grand conspiracy out there.
off-label quite literally means that you're using a drug that has been approved by the FDA for unapproved reasons. In other words, saying that it's off-label approved is literally an oxymoron.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know how the U.S. healthcare system works.
Okay, okay, prove me wrong.
All right, yeah, you guys.
I can literally just look up the definition of off-label. I can literally just look up the medical definition of off-label and just.
I've already gotten an AI response if you want it.
Put it in the chat. I'm sorry. I've been
I'll put it in the chat. It's got a lot of details.
Off-label means.
You want to see it? It's in guest text, so it's GPT-4's response.
What off-label actually means is that when a drug goes through approval through the FDA, that it is at just a base because the FDA, they don't really regulate whether a drug is effective, they just regulate whether it's safe for people to take. So when drugs go through an approval process, they're usually within the context of a specific treatment. We could look at Viagra, for example. Viagra, when it was first submitted to the FDA, the research that was sent was in relation to treating high blood pressure. But it is approved for off-label use because using it for erectile dysfunction is safe and effective in the scientific literature. But it's off-label because the drug's already been approved. It doesn't need to be approved again.
I think that happens.
Yeah. Does the FDA approve? Okay, let's just be clear. Does the FDA approve using Viagra specifically for erectile dysfunction?
No, it's off-label.
Oh, okay. Then you're just outright wrong.
So could I please?
Now going on forward. By the way, just want to say from the FDA in of itself, FDA unapproved use of an approved drug is often called off-label use. So in other words, my statement where the FDA does not approve this for this specific use is correct. Any contention, such as the one that was given by Christine, is also incorrect. And unapproved use just means that it's unapproved use, whether you call it off-label or not. Saying that's approved off-label doesn't fucking exist. It's ironic by nature. All you're saying is that doctors are willing to prescribe it for different diagnoses other than what the FDA approve. But that wouldn't be something that would be consistent with the statement that's saying this is a scientific consensus, because usually scientific consensus is displayed through administrative law.
Not always. That's why we have off-label use. There's a lot of drugs that have not been submitted through the FDA that doctors know for a fact is effective in treatment of those issues.
Yeah. But it's not approved by the FDA.
And that's fine because the FDA has already reviewed the data and shown that it's safe. The FDA does not regulate whether a drug is effective.
On March 27th, 1998.
They only regulate, let me finish.
Okay.
They only regulate whether it's safe for you to take. That's it.
Okay, so by the way, this is also incorrect, and also Christine was simultaneously incorrect for the use of impotence. On March 27th, 1998, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approves use of drug Viagra and oral medication that treats impotence.
And you know it was, and do you know that it was being used?
Hold up, before you continue. You said they haven't approved it. That's factually incorrect. You just said something for absolutely no reason. Continuing forward, when it comes to this, sure, a drug could perhaps be used off-label, be experimented with, and then a body of evidence be built over time to get it FDA approved. But the fact that it's being used off-label means there most likely isn't that type of scientific consensus at the moment. So when someone says that there's scientific consensus concerning this, I would like to see that evidence, because these studies concerning like the use of these puberty blockers have been submitted to the FDA, and the FDA have found them lacking.
So do you have
a source?
May just very quickly.
I'm so confused.
Do we know how many prescriptions in the United States are for an off-label use?
Wait, repeat that?
Do we know how many prescriptions in the United States, like of all the prescriptions written, how many of them are for off-label use?
Many, like fucking Tylenol is the biggest one.
If I could get
Well, Tylenol's over the counter generally.
Hey guys,
but
I
if
hate
one-
to interrupt
if
y'all's
one
lovely
person-
conversation. Hey
I just-
guys. Is there a mod in here that can increase the room size? Because I can't increase it because the bot command for the room doesn't work.
I can't increase it.
All right, if I could get.
I don't even know
I just
how.
can I finish the point?
Yes. Okay. So here's what's gonna happen.
Wait, let me finish the fucking point I was
Yeah,
making. What the
Spooky's
hell?
gonna go, and then Jake's gonna go.
Thank you.
So look,
What is
I was just going to say that 20%, 1 in 5 of all prescriptions written by doctors in the United States are off-label. So like, I think that while yes, I think paternalism might be right in the sense that like, yeah, it's not approved by the FDA officially. This is not an uncommon practice, and Christina is right in the sense that like, the reason why why once a medication is approved by the FDA for whatever the on-label use is that like that has passed rigor in terms of it being something that's like determined to be safe to prescribe to people, right? In terms of like it's not going to have some unknown or unintended like they're not gonna fucking die taking this shit.
Wait,
like,
hold up. So
and so
Jake's
can
gonna
I
go
just
next.
finish,
Go on,
please?
Spooky.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
And so
Sorry, go ahead.
like so that's why it is the case that the regulations as set out by the FDA that once something is approved for an on-label usage, there's no restriction as far as a doctor being able to or not being able to prescribe something for an off-label use of that same approved medication, and they are not liable in some additional way or something like that if something goes wrong in that instance because it is an approved medication, right? And so again, 1 in 5 prescriptions in the United States, all like in total, are for some form of an off-label usage of something. This is not an uncommon practice, and it does not mean something is inherently dangerous.
So let's be clear. The FDA has approved drugs that are necessarily dangerous. They are allowed in regards to their use, right?
Right.
So this can basically
Christine
be not
sort
just
of
seen
mentioned
as this cannot just be seen in relation to basically the particular drugs. It could also be seen in relation to particular products, treatments, so on and so forth. You can't justify giving chemotherapy to someone who isn't suffering from cancer
Right.
as an analogy, right? So
Or
the
you can
point-
get morphine for
Hold up.
palliative care.
Sure. But the
Non
point,
sequitur.
the point is that something being off-label, I'll just like to clarify something. Medicine can be approved for multiple use cases after it's been initially approved. The claim that it isn't is just factually incorrect, historically incorrect. It's just
I never said it was. If we go
Okay,
back to the
okay, if you say
Viagra
so. Okay,
story,
regardless.
if we go back to the Viagra story, almost
The point is that for this particular use, one, doctors actually can potentially be held liable. There is case law on this. Two, necessarily, when it comes to this particular usage, there doesn't seem to be a body of evidence that seems to be convincing enough for administrative law to change to approve it for this particular use. So what standard are we using to say that there's scientific consensus to begin with?
Well, you can look at any major medical association that has any money behind it, the AMA, the Pediatric Association, any organization that could have any authority speaking to whether HRT is safe for kids. They have approved it and said it's safe and effective and life-saving. If we go back to Viagra, it went through this exact same thing, and it even happened faster because when Viagra was first being synthesized and tested, and it got approved by the FDA for blood pressure issues, it was almost immediately figured out that it could be used to help with erectile dysfunction. And there was a long lag period between the initial approval of Viagra for its original use and it eventually getting approved for erectile dysfunction, and doctors were prescribing it for erectile dysfunction up to that point. You have to remember the FDA is very slow. It can take years, if not decades, for even if you have the complete body of research, it can take years, if not decades, to get something through the FDA. And again, if you want a rigorous understanding of whether HRT is effective for kids, just go to Google, type in major American medical institution, and search for their opinion on HRT for kids, and they will tell you that it's safe and effective.
You're talking about children that have a hormonal disbalance, and therefore they need HRT. We're not talking. I thought the whole context of this chat had to
What
do.
kids do we
Can I go next, please?
Sure, I will go right after you.
All right. So
I go after that.
All right, so
Yes.
I appreciated earlier. I thought this was a really astute observation on Esoteric's part. He said that the term reversible isn't entirely accurate, but it's more palatable. It's more of a marketing ploy.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like and appreciate that. He said a word that would be more accurate would be mitigatable. Like some of these conditions are mitigatable. But my concern with this whole thing is not that it's not only the legal parameters that I believe there is some lacking some informed consent when a
No, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm done. I'm out of here. I gotta go take a shower. I'll go get some food. Good stuff. So I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers. And make sure you, hey, listen. Okay? Be safe.